This is about delivering great exclusive games for you that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists.
Hello and welcome out to this week's episode of Gamers Council. Man, this is a stacked panel, and this is going to be a great show tonight. Thank you guys for being here. Lots of great shows on tonight, and people will eventually get to this one. So we do appreciate you being here, watching us live. And let's get right into it. RHETRI, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good, Dave. Gamescom is it still going on? Is it done today? Is today the last day?
Last day was today. It finished about 5 hours ago.
So I watched a bunch of that. Obviously, you can't catch everything when you're watching Gamescom because some of the stuff is like kind of happening simultaneously and stuff. But we're here to talk all kinds of different things, Gamescom among other things. We got Pixelbit, we got PTK, and we got Wonder and Dutch. We had to get someone. We're so stupid. Like I didn't even think it was like maybe we should get someone who's actually there. So we got Wonder and Dutch to give us his perspective and maybe give us some behind the scenes stuff. Being someone who actually went there. So
he has actually made the marathon. He was on several shows yesterday, several shows today, including ours. So again, Dutch, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you, man. You're awesome. All right, well, let's get the introductions going first. Here we got PTK BLAM right in the center. PTK, buddy, how you doing, man? How's it going?
I'm great, man. Shout out to chat. What's up? Glad to be here. Didn't get a chance to do the shop podcast yesterday, so I'm chomping at the bits. Got all the guys here. What's up, Dutch? I see you. So you got the whole pot of coffee over there, my boy. But we gonna keep the show interesting enough to keep you awake, Dutch. So no worries over there, guy. We got you. But thank you, Dave. Once again, RHETRI, shout out to you, Pixelbit as well, man. I'm just glad to be amongst these awesome gamers. Shout out to chat as well. You guys are amazing. But yeah, I'm ready, man. I'm like I said, I haven't really gotten a chance to talk about any of this, but so I'm good to go, Dave.
Awesome, man. I'm looking forward to this. And we have Pixelbit in. Yes, Pixelbit, I can't hear you audio. So
I think I'm good now. I finally found my way back. So
there we go.
Welcome everyone. Appreciate the invite as always. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be an interesting show because we've had a lot of interesting news over the last week or so. It's a pleasure to finally work with my man Dutch over here, the best bear in the game over here. I'm a little envious. I'm a gray beard. I'm envious. I like it. You know what I'm saying? And
shout out to the gray beards of gaming.
Yeah.
J-Man.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I've worked with you before, PTK, but you know what I'm saying? Pleasure having you on here.
Pleasure to meet you too, brother.
So yeah, let's rock.
All right. Sounds good. And of course we have the one and only, the legendary, the Wandering Dutch. Dutch, how are you doing, Mr. Tired?
Yeah. It's been a long week. Honestly, I thought. And everyone kept on saying, "Oh, you're gonna have a good week. It's gonna be really fun." I was like, "Yeah, it's super gonna be fun, but it's gonna be really tiring." I don't think anyone quite understood how exhausting that's gonna be because we were up like 6 o'clock in the morning every day, and not back in the hotel till like 11 o'clock. Gone midnight most days after everything packed up. It was just non-stop. So it was super fun, but exhausted. So I'm looking forward to an actual holiday at some point.
I promise you,
All right.
we'll release you in a couple hours, and then you're going to do whatever you need to. I'm just kidding. But I do have to tell you one thing. Thank you so much for yours and Boxenberger's coverage. I got to watch a show from the hotel. That was fantastic. Awesome. Yeah, and then of course you did a special show today, which was really good. And then plus you had lots of pictures. I mean, great pictures with a bunch of the crew and the Xbox team and stuff. Plus the just you guys, you could just tell you guys were in heaven is really what it looked like from this end. So that was great.
Yeah, super fun. A lot of awesome people. We'll get into it as well. With a lot of awesome people that we met. A lot of different teams and different. Again, people always judge it a little bit differently on social media, and they're always kind of console warring and stuff about the way Xbox is with people, but until you actually experience it in person, you don't quite realize just how much of a community-driven company they are. And I mean that in a genuine sense, not just like doing it because they have to. I mean, like, people kind of like to think about Aaron Greenberg as just some guy that kind of is over the top on socials, but he's actually like a really cool, really sweet guy. And he's everywhere. That guy has got an engine. He was literally all over the place, non-stop. He was first in the building on the morning, last out on the evening. He was in and around the crowd. He was mixing with every fan he could possibly mix with. He was non-stop. So a huge shout out to them, because that team did an amazing job that week.
Yeah, he's like the Energizer Bunny. Like, that dude just has amazing energy. I don't know how he can do it. I don't know how old Aaron is, but I don't have the energy. I don't even have the energy to do what you're doing right now, Dutch. So shout out to you for being here. I appreciate it. I'd be sleeping right now. But let's just jump right in right now, guys. So obviously want to know what games you guys are playing, or any shows or TV movies that you guys have been watching that interest you. I'll start with you, Pixelbit. Obviously, wondering, Dutch, you don't have to. We could go into some of the stuff you've been playing, because some of that stuff was at Gamescom. So you can kind of dodge that answer just a little bit, and we'll come back around when we talk some Gamescom stuff. But Pixelbit, what have you been playing, brother?
Right now, I mean, I'm doing a little bit of Minecraft today with the family. So I'm still on Vampire Survivors, as well as a bunch of Baldur's Gate 3, knowing damn well I am not going to be able to beat that game anytime soon. So I feel bad for it. You know, I'm enjoying it, but I'm like, you know, I got Starfield on the mind right now. So yeah.
Nice.
Are you far into Baldur's Gate? Like, you got decent amount of hours in?
Dude, I have I'm like 50 hours in, but
I think it's a lot.
No, I'm just off of Act 1.
I know.
Because the way I'm playing it, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
You know, I'm taking my time, you know, but it's taking a long time, you know what I'm saying? But it really is a great game. You know, it harkens back to the gold box era of gaming for me, at least, you know. So you know, those OG D&D games from Sierra. So you know, so it's a great game. So I know I'll have to come back to it at some point, but I'm trying to get through it. They have a lot of very interesting things that happen in that game. You know, not supplying any spoilers, but yeah, like getting into chapter 2 is like, it's mind blowing. So it's a great game.
Do you agree? Do you agree with the Metascore on that one? Like, would you put in the 90s on that?
Yeah,
you like
absolutely.
that game? Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. It's easily a 90s game. You know, there are some quibbles about it. You know, there are some issues with pacing and things of that nature. But in terms of like the way that they executed on this game, and like the concepts, the story, like the way it's written, and just the strategy of the gameplay, it is not an easy game, y'all. Like, if you're playing it, just be aware. Like, there's no places to level up like in this game like that. So you kind of deal with situations as they come, and you kind of have to have the right like configuration of players, and you know, approach every fight very strategically, because you will die a lot.
Okay, so a little Souls-like, it sounds like to me. Which I've been hearing a lot lately.
Yeah. It's really based on like the OG D&D style games, where like back in the days, like you'd be facing off first 20 enemies. You got a crew of 5. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
And they all get a turn. So you got to be really. It's a strategy game at its heart. Like, it's real deep strategy, and because you're dealing with those dice rolls, you know, it's strategy and a little bit of luck involved as well. So yeah, it's tight, man. I'm gonna be playing it for a while. It's a great game.
Nice. Well, at least for next 4 days.
yeah. I'm gonna get as much time as I can get in over the next 4 days, and then after that, you guys will see me, you know, commanding my ship.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. PTK, brother, what have you been playing, man?
I still been plodding my way through Diablo. That's pretty much all I've been playing.
Wow, you're still in Diablos, huh?
Yeah, definitely, man. I haven't. That's all really I've been dabbling, you know, into. I haven't really touched anything else. I watched my wife kind of download a couple Game Pass games and dive into those. But for me, really just Diablo trying to get this character to 100. Trying to finish out this season. Now that we're gonna get another season, that was just announced as well too. So now I'm trying to like speed rush it. You got Starfield around the corner. That's staring at me in the rearview mirror, you know. So obviously I want to get to that. So just trying to get through this character. That's it. For the most part, that's pretty much all I've been playing. When I have the time to jump in and grind in that. So I have been watching something though. So I'm actually glad you guys brought this up this week. I've been watching that Netflix show Ragnarok.
I know that one.
Pretty good show so far. You know, Norwegian show. You know, kind of Thor. You know, got the lore going there, but it's been a pretty good show so far. I'm not too far into it. I think we just finished season 1, so I think it's got 3 seasons, but it's been pretty good. So
yeah, I watched that. I don't know if I finished it. I think I just watched. I didn't realize it was 3 seasons, so I think I finished season 1.
I was surprised as well too. I thought it was brand new, but I guess not.
Yeah, I thought so too. So I'm glad you said that because I'm like I was waiting for that, so I didn't realize it was actually 3 seasons of that show.
Yeah,
so it's definitely interesting.
It's pretty good.
I like it. Yeah. Dutch. I don't know. Trick question. What have you been playing?
or maybe better just what have you been watching, if anything?
Yeah. What have you been watching?
I've been
watching Starfield. In Germany.
Watched a lot of games.
Wink.
Been playing a lot of games. No, there's a lot of things I can dive into. Towerborn was one of the standouts for me as well. Towerborn.
I was hoping you were going to mention that, Dutch.
We are definitely.
Man,
I'm so glad,
get into that
because we had a show yesterday, and I was like, I'm hyping Towerborn, and I feel like I was all alone. So I am so glad I got PTK and I got you here, Dutch, because I think that game looks legit. I think it looks awesome.
I'm down with that as well. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, all right.
Sure.
Pixel Bit's like, me too.
Join the group, buddy.
I think it looks great, man. Stoic stepping up. So I'm glad that Xbox kind of teaming up with them. So I didn't get to watch your video today. I do know you made a video about the game, but overall, it's good.
I saw it. The video's tight. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so obviously I had hands on with it. I also did a 45-minute interview with Arnie Jorgensen, who's the co-founder of Stoic.
Yeah,
completely unintentional. I was speaking to Kelly Lombardi, who's the head of marketing for Xbox Global, and just behind her was Arnie, just standing there watching people play the game. And then she was like, "Arnie, come here." He's like, "This is Boxenberger, this is Dutch, like big community members." He's like, "All right, hello. Have you played the Banner Saga?" I was like, "Yeah, I've played that." He's like, "Really?" I was like, "Of course I have. Yeah, why?" He's like, "Oh, well, I did all the paying for it. I was doing X, Y, and Z." He was like really enthusiastic, and then we just got talking about everything. So, found out a lot about the game. Of course, naturally took an opportunity to question him quite a bit about everything, how the relationship is with Xbox, what he's classed as, and what his plans are for the game going forwards and things. But he's talked a lot about the art style. So he's the stage we played is still hand painted by him. He said that's the one stage I've managed to convince him to leave in. That's hand painted by me. The other stages are hand painted by the art team. They are all completely remote, so the studio's like worldwide. They don't have a singular office.
I didn't know that. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. Did you put that video out? Like, is the video of you talking to him out in the ether right now? Because I don't think I saw that. Oh, it is
the hands-on impression as well. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to. It's the same video. Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out. That game definitely
hands-on.
Looks
the
awesome.
Easiest way to put it, and I know everyone will be happy with that. The easiest way to put it is it's Castle Crashers mixed with Monster Hunter.
Okay,
that's all I need to hear.
Good combo. Yeah.
The world.
The world in
itself.
I've heard other people say that too.
The coolest thing about the world in itself is that they've built the engine so that it can generate entire new worlds and new maps at a flick of a switch. So when the season changes over, the entire world map will change to an entire new map. And then all they've got to do is go in, tweak a couple of things with the art team, and add new little special bits. And then just roll out a new season, and then they can do that every season. So it works a bit like
are you talking like procedurally generated?
Procedural generation, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
But it works a bit more like the Minecraft procedural generation, where it's based on a seed. So when they generated the map, it's seeded.
Okay.
So essentially, they just keep an eye on that, whatever that seed code is at the end of each season. If they want to bring that map back, they can bring that map back because they have the seed for it. But they can keep generating it. So every season, brand new map, brand new world, new bosses, everything like that. So it keeps it going, and their plans are to support it for 5 to 10 years.
Oh, nice!
Wow! Holy crap!
Wow.
Okay, I didn't expect to hear that.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
getting
gonna dive
great.
into that.
I'm so glad we brought you on today, man. I'm getting there's some great tidbits of information that you just put onto game. I had no clue about procedural generation. I had you know, and the painted on art style. That's kind of one of the things that got me excited about Towerborn. It just looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Like watching them play at Gamescom. We were playing the boss fight against the giant mushroom or whatever. It was, I was just like, oh, dude.
He's
I
actually
think
a bit
this
of a pain in the ass, you know. He's a bit of a
he
pain
looks,
in the ass.
dude. They were getting their asses kicked. I have like footage, and I'm like recording it and trying to get everything out to Twitter for Game Pass Daily. And I'm like, when's this gonna end? The fight was like over 20 minutes. I swear to God, it was, and they just kept dying. That thing, it was like a damn Souls game. I was like, are they gonna not be able to beat this guy? Like for a second, I thought they're gonna lose. But yeah, it looks like it's not gonna be an easy, an easy game. So, which is fine by me. But anything else that you want to talk about that you've been playing?
Yeah, I've played a few things. So I can speak on. I didn't get a chance to play Stalker, but Boxy did. I can speak on his thoughts on Stalker. So Stalker graphically was kind of hit and miss with people. I understand.
I said that yesterday. I got a ton of crap for saying that yesterday because I watched the old footage, Dutch, and I watched the new trailer, and it looked very pulled back graphically. Which I'm not saying that equals a bad game. Like fidelity doesn't equal a bad game to me, obviously, but I'm glad you brought that up because man, I was getting some crap yesterday for even saying that about Stalker too. Obviously, we know their situation and what's going on with them, and I wasn't trying to pick on that team. I just kind of thought maybe this should get delayed further out to get to the fidelity that they were showing us the first round. But continue on. Sorry, I interrupting you.
No, it's all right. It's all right. It's the facial animations aren't as impressive as what they first showed. Because obviously they showed some next level UE5 tech going into the facial animation. That's not nowhere near as impressive. It's not what they showed off. And then UE5 again. We know this because there's so many games having issues with UE5 and getting the fidelity out at the certain resolutions and things like that. But what UE5 was meant to do was be able to have hyper detail right here, hyper detail on something far out, and if you go to something that's far out and have a look at it, it should be hyper detailed when you get close up.
Yeah.
But it was causing when you were getting close to certain things, they were still blurry, not really full of detail. And it was causing a few texture issues at close range. So it's obviously still a build in progress. To be fair, when I spoke to Xbox team after FanFest, they were saying that build in itself come in super hot. So when you saw Phil Spencer and Todd Howard playing it on Twitter on their socials, that was the first time that Xbox team had played that build before public.
Oh wow! Okay.
So that's how hot it literally they didn't see the game until that point, so they didn't know what build was coming to Gamescom. They just wanted them there. So it was super hot. It did come in super hot.
Okay.
But on the gameplay side is a whole nother story because the gameplay was good. The gameplay was super interesting. The guns were really good. The gunplay was really fun. It was a difficult game. And everything had consequences. So essentially the section up there was you had a number of side missions, but the vast majority of people played exactly the same thing. So you kind of run into this guy who's getting attacked by dogs. The certain circumstances are, of course, if you kill the guy and the dogs kind of escape, when you get to the next point, you get attacked by the village or the settlers there because you've killed a friend. So they're not going to be very pleased with you. However, if you rescue the guy and kill the dogs, you get that village, they help you out, they give you side quests, they give you items, so on. Then you get more side quests, etc. So it's all knock-on effect, and that's just a small portion of the intro of the game. There are random things that occur, so it's like electro storms and things like that that can kill you. You've got to seek shelter and get out of it. But it's a hyper detailed world with a lot of things going on. So gunplay, gameplay, everything that's going along with the actual fun and enjoyment of the game, it's there.
Right.
So that's
Good.
nothing to be worried about. But
Alright.
it definitely needs a bit more polishing on the graphical end. In
Right,
terms of
right.
how it runs as well, super smooth.
So,
It
okay,
runs smooth.
that's good.
Very
They didn't
nice.
tell. They didn't like say 4K 60. I'm guessing that's probably what it.
No, it was
what it
running on
was. What-
PC though. Was
Oh,
running
it
on
was
PC.
PC.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if it's on
that's what I
PC,
figured.
it still ain't 4K. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're focusing on 60 with all the noise we're hearing about UE5 right now. So
Yeah, I know.
I
Well,
don't mind
I
them
saw what
dialing it
happened
back
with
a little
Immortals,
bit, yeah.
right? Like, holy
Yeah,
crap!
yeah,
Like, gah. I think I'm gonna
I think
stop.
what
I
will
think
help
I'm gonna
them-
stop prepping up UE5. I'll let Umbra do that. I'm gonna back up.
I was
go,
gonna
"Eh,
say,
it's
yeah,
not
you
that
better let
great."
him die on that hill by himself.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think what'll help these guys though, unlike a couple of the UE5 games that have been coming out with issues, is the fact that Stalker 2 is single player.
Yeah.
They don't have to
that's
worry
true.
about networking
true.
or any of those kind of
Mhm.
issues, netcode, etc. So that'll certainly help them. But likes of Immortals of Avium, etc., these have all got kind of network connectivity that's required. That'll be causing no end of issue as well.
Cool. All right. Well,
Craziness.
dude, thank you for that insight. That's awesome. Obviously, we're going to be picking your brain a lot more tonight.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
But Retro, if you don't mind, read that. We have a new channel member.
Yeah, William Riggs, welcome, brother. Became a new YouTube member, and benefits for that is you can see our special shows that happen once a month. That we just had one yesterday, which accidentally we screwed up. Went out to the general
You don't have to
public.
keep bringing that up.
Well, I'm just
I'm just
saying. But you get the emojis if
Yep.
depending on what level of a member you become. You can also get like phone backgrounds and whatnot.
Yep.
So we got more stuff down the pipeline as well coming up. But
Yeah, and I just dropped all
yeah.
those in the chat there to check out the emojis if you're interested in those. Lots of conversation can be had with those. Also, we got to read this one real quick before we get on to your first one.
Oh, he's back. All right, Jim Ryan's first party GoFundMe account. Starfield is old news. Toast of the month is now the brand new PSP. Get yours now while stocks last. I imagine they're going to last for a while, but I don't know. They say PlayStation guys will buy bricks, so who knows? They're selling quicker than the subscriptions to my OnlyFans.
Too much.
He's a mess.
The
Man.
PSP.
Definitely.
Yeah. The product
Jesus.
I'm still confused about why it exists and who the hell this thing is for. I don't know. We talked some trash about it yesterday during the show, which was fun. We had Scrub Nurse on there and Wilmy Hood, and we had a blast just teasing this thing. I'm confused why you would buy it, but like we've been told, these guys will buy anything, so it's fine. I guess if you're
too funny.
while you're pooping, I guess you can.
Well,
PSP.
it's right there with you. It's kind of a shitty
What's up,
answer, but
Dreadpool?
I'm kidding.
Jesus
The
Christ.
truth sticks.
Exactly. I got to welcome out the over 55 people we have in the chat right now. Thank you so much for being here with us. I know a lot of other shows on right now, and you guys joining us. We greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much. Dreadpool, Fuzzy Belvedere, K Asante, and so many more are in the chat. King Webb, Tell us Ray,
Mhm.
so many more. RSJ fan, there's just can't mention all of you. Def Leppard, and I can't mention all of you, so I apologize for that. But we do appreciate you being here. If you got questions, pop them up, and we'll do our best to get them here and get talking about them. So, RHETRI, what is our first conversation of the night?
Yeah, I think I'm going to start with just kind of pull the Band-Aid off with this one because I don't think it's too interesting, but maybe you guys will have some different insight than I do. But Microsoft offering Ubisoft the 15-year cloud gaming deal for all ABK games, basically to appease the CMA to get them to shut up and just make this deal go through. What do you guys think of this? I'll start with you, Pixelbit. Do you think this is a big deal for customers, for Microsoft, for anybody? Do you care about this? Does the cloud gaming move the needle for you, or what are your thoughts about this this ABK Ubisoft collaboration? I guess you call it.
Yeah, I was initially quite annoyed with it. Like, at least when it first came out, it kind of read like this is being mandated by the CMA as opposed to this was Microsoft's offer to the CMA to try to get them to shut the fuck up.
Mhm.
Am I allowed to say that?
Yep.
Yes, you
Yes,
are.
you are.
Please say it, please.
You know,
Mhm.
so it's like we knew that Microsoft was in the process of trying to divest, but I didn't expect it to be Ubisoft of all companies, right? Because
I didn't
kind
either.
of,
I did not see that one
it's
coming.
a competing brand, right? Even though people are like, oh, it's not competing. It's like they are, right? They're a gaming publisher as well, right? And they also have a cloud service, so it's kind of a competing brand. But after the initial shock of it, with maybe cooler minds talking about it, it seems that it may be just partly Microsoft helping Ubisoft fix the mess that they're kind of in at this point, as well as it gives Microsoft ability to remove themselves from that particular part of the market, at least for that particular for those particular games, right? So it doesn't impact COD, right? I mean, in terms of like the console version of applications,
Right.
It doesn't require that they give anything else to Sony or any competing markets. So in terms of the way that Microsoft is viewing cloud services at this point, it seems like all these people are thinking that they're kind of pulling away from it. But I don't see it as that because you still have 23 other studios that are liable to making exclusives for Microsoft that will end up on Microsoft's cloud, right? That they control.
Right. Very true. Very
right?
true.
So I think what I see it as is more. This kind of just shows that the mobile side of Activision is more important to Microsoft than the cloud side at this point, right?
Oh yeah.
Because they're kind of willing to give that up, or at least give up full control of that for now, in order to allow them to get to that mobile segment. So, I in terms of users, I don't know how it impacts us at this point. Doesn't mean we need
if no one's using it, who gives a crap, right? I mean, we've been told that everyone was using it just to test out a game and then download it later, which is the majority of users, according directly in the courtroom
but according
from
to
Sarah
Microsoft,
Vaughn,
right? So, but it's like I use it, right? I use it for more than downloading games, right? I use it for whenever I don't want to install something, or I don't have direct access to my system, or I'm using the ROG Ally, right? Like, so there is a market that uses it. I think the biggest thing for me, or at least the biggest thing to consider, is that it's a young market, so you would hope that their position is still like, hey, at some point this market is going to expand, and we need to be in position for that expansion, especially now that Sony is positioning themselves to actually semi care about the market, right? At least with their little silly handhold and shit. But I'm sorry, not with that, because that handheld is not allowed to stream anything. My bad.
As long as your PlayStation's on, then you get to use it.
I make a mistake. But
you're good.
But I mean, you got other players in the market coming in. You got Netflix coming in hot right now, right? Like they're kind of really getting aggressive in this market. So
Amazon's been dabbling.
Yeah, Amazon is dabbling. Netflix is starting to light up at this point. Now you're giving Ubisoft
speaking of
power,
Amazon, to what PTK was saying, sorry to interrupt, but I mean they're tied in with Luna too. So I mean, doesn't that kind of mean that this is probably going to hit? They'll probably make a deal directly with Luna, since Ubisoft is directly connected with the service themselves.
Well, I mean, they use Luna's backbone, right? But it doesn't mean that they need to give Google sorry, they don't need to give Amazon the software. But at the same token, you're right? Anybody can make a deal. So if Amazon is willing
because
to pay the
Ubisoft's in
cash,
charge now, so you're right. If they could get a deal on server usage, and then give give them access to ABK games through Luna. But again, I just don't know if this is going to move the needle. I mean, I think if Microsoft is willing to give you 15 years, they gave you beyond the 5 more years in the COD contract. I just don't. I think they've now realized maybe cloud isn't going to be a thing for a long time. It's like anything else, right? It's just like VR. I saw VR 40 years ago. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's old.
I
Like
don't know about
people
40,
don't realize.
but yeah,
You know what I'm
did
saying?
see,
Like
I
shit,
did
shit.
see
Oh,
VR in 1993.
VR was on Oprah a long ass time ago. I remember
Yeah.
that. Doing
true.
skydiving and stuff. But you know what I'm saying? Like technology takes, I think things like this take a lot longer to actually catch on. I think maybe people realize. So I think Microsoft is seeing that. The numbers are showing them that. And, you know, I don't know. What do you, PTK? What do you think about this thing? Does this do you care? I think more surprising to me is that it wasn't their territory, that it went worldwide, that everyone else got affected, that we got affected. I was like, whoa, what the hell? Yeah, I didn't see that
little
coming.
tiny shit country able to tell everybody else what to do, but it's crazy.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm gonna just pretty much parrot everything Pixel said. By the way, great wrap up, Pixel, because I totally agree. I'm a bit more brief because ultimately whatever gets them to shut the hell up and moves everything along, I'm all for it.
it just wanted to be done, right? Like just move on. Like
whatever we need to
yes.
do to get this done. Now, once again, there was some misinterpretations on exactly what was going on when it was initially reported. A lot of people thought it was something a little bit different than it actually ended up being, because this seems to be just all part of the plan. We're going to give a little piece of this cake to say the rest of the pie, right? You know, we can afford to divest this part of our at this point in time, we can afford to divest this part of our business for the long run, because like you said, and Pixelbit, said it. They've said it 3 or 4 different times at this point. If you guys don't know, the mobile part of Activision is extremely important to Xbox. Matter of fact, scratch that, important to Microsoft, because it's not just Xbox at this point in time. They're a pillar now. They all sit at the same table. This is not the Bill Gates Microsoft where they're in the little kids table on the side. They get to have big conversations now. So ultimately at the end of the day, anything to get this deal to move forward, and like Pixel said so eloquently, the one country out of how many, where are we at, 47?
40. I lost count.
Where we lost count?
A bunch.
High 40s, something like that.
It's in the
40s. 41. I think it's
man.
41 approvals. Yeah.
This is a mockery of what they're doing. I'm not gonna get into that. I don't want to make this whole show.
No, it's wild.
But
It
is wild.
It is wild. What worries me
wild.
is setting the precedent. That's the only thing that worries me is they were able to do this. What happens in the future when the CMA gets involved again? You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing that makes me
but
go,
the precedent that Xbox and Microsoft continue to fight this that's more important. That's the more important precedent that needs to be set over time, because this is something that is going to happen going forward in the future. And Microsoft is one of the few companies at this point capable of like taking all the bullets, right? All the political bullets they've taken, all of the smear campaigns they've had to, go through, all of the stuff. They've actually, we've seen it affect their actual business model. This whole ABK stuff, they had the stall game, stuff's been delayed, all kind of stuff. They're one of the few companies that are able to withstand that. So they have to do this for things coming in the future, and they're not done either. They're still going to buy companies. We may never get a $70 billion deal again, but ultimately they're still going to want to play in that pool. And you don't want the politicians swimming in the pool. Get your ass out the pool. Go do something else. We don't need y'all in here mucking it up. We got this tech stuff. We've been doing this for a while. We don't need you guys, bringing all of that political stuff in here, messing everything up. So they have to withstand this. They're gonna fight it. They're gonna continue to, give as much as they need to give within reason, right? Because they know, essentially, I feel like they got this in a bag. I think everybody knows, even Cat knows, even the CMA knows, this is a done deal at this point. How long do you want to wait? They're going to play nice for as long as they need to. At one point, and this is why I could never be CEO, Dutch, anybody up here, I would just go scorch earth. I was like, you know what? Forget the UK.
I would have cut the UK at their knees.
You guys are cut
and be like,
off.
take this L, right? But
like a bad baby mama. You're out of here. Like, no way. Like, you're not getting anything else. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't mean to spite the face, cut off the nose to spite the face. But in that instance, the UK, you're gone. Like, you guys aren't getting any games, and you can blame your government for that. So, but I'm glad that they're going this route. Ultimately, I think it's going to be better dealing, playing nice in the future from a political standpoint. It always looks good. Xbox has built a reputation of, this consumer-friendly company. You don't want to do anything to, ruin that reputation. I don't think Phil or Satya are those kind of people anyway. So ultimately, whatever moves this deal forward, I'm all for it.
Absolutely. I'm going to read this from Kayasante. He brings up a good point, and it's true. Amazon can make a deal, but then they have to pay Microsoft rights to do it. Question is, will Amazon be willing to pay COD money. That's a great question, man.
I don't think anybody's gonna be willing to pay COD.
I don't
money,
know who the hell
be
wants to pay
actually honest
COD
with
money.
you. I don't think
Yeah.
anybody. You're gonna get all those other Activision games day one, but that COD, nah. Oh, I'd be very surprised to see that end up on any of the other services on day one. It'll be on Game Pass, but I'm not sure it'll be any place else. It's gonna be too expensive.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
the nice thing about that is that Sony wants to have some ABK games on their service. They
Yep,
can pay for it.
they
That's
could.
not a problem. But, you know, the bulk of the revenue still goes back to Microsoft when they do that. That's okay. And also, from the way I understand it, and I could be wrong, but I believe this is the case, that even though they're licensing it and it's like pretty much a third party now with Ubisoft, just on cloud gaming, just on cloud.
Right. Yep.
But there can't be any deal made that excludes the product from being on Microsoft's service. So in
Right.
other words, they can make a
Yep.
deal for big stuff, all kinds of good stuff, but it can't be like, oh, but you can't put it on Microsoft if we do a deal with you.
You can't
I
have
didn't
an
even know that.
Xbox
That's-
clause. That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like
but-
that. I
Imagine,
like
Yeah, 'cause
that.
imagine that world, right?
I
We
like
did see
that.
some people saying that. I did see that going around on, well, Netflix can put, go over the top of Microsoft. I'm like, nah. Because people are like, well, they can pay more. Can they can literally like get COD
Outbid
and
them, yeah.
Microsoft won't. So, Dave brings up a good point that can't happen because of clause. And Microsoft would never allow. Microsoft
that's
is
silly
stupid.
anyway.
They would,
Come
of
on
course,
now.
they would have
Like,
a
yeah.
clause like that.
Come on now.
Yeah, Dutch. Let's go to you. What's your take on this whole thing? Is it a big deal or is I don't know. Just give us your opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, small fry.
Yeah.
Cloud gaming in the general grand scheme of things. We covered this the other day as well. Cloud gaming to them. If it was such a huge deal breaker for Microsoft, they wouldn't have done the deal.
Right.
Mhm.
It's simple as that. If it was actually something that was imperative for this strategy, it would never have been done as a deal.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're willing to divest that off just shows how insignificant the cloud gaming section of this transaction is to Microsoft or Xbox. It's like, whatever. That's
Right.
such small fry in comparison to what we need to deal with. And the vast majority of what this is for is specifically for, let's face it, it's for the mobile segment. So
Mhm.
as long as that's undamaged, that's exactly what they need.
Does
Yeah.
anyone think?
Agreed.
And I don't. I'm just going to say I don't really see this happening. But does anyone think because of their, starting a relationship with Ubisoft that we could get something like Ubisoft games into Game Pass more often because of this, or do you think that's
like there was some
maybe
trade-off,
Ubisoft Classics? Maybe
I don't think it's beyond question because Ubisoft still has to pay for this content, right? It's not like they're getting it for free.
Right.
Correct.
Right? They have the rights for the streaming, but they still have to pay for the streaming, right? Some money has to be exchanged, right? So
Right.
it may they may cut a deal to say, hey, we'll take a percentage less and add out our games to your service. Who knows?
I
Right?
think there's
It's
definitely
more money for them too. So
yeah, I think there's definitely avenues for that conversation at this point in time, and things like that happen all the time. Sometimes we always look at these business deals like when we pull back. Sometimes it's like everything happens like in structure, like all in meetings and all at this predestined time.
Right.
No, these opportunities come up randomly sometimes. Sometimes you don't know these deals are going to be available or these avenues are going to become available. So, sometimes the industry creates these opportunities, and this is one that, Microsoft, being able to do that, they'll be able to, get the opportunity to talk about Ubisoft. Maybe we do have that conversation. Maybe they've had that conversation already about, well, you scratch, my back, I'll scratch yours kind of a situation, or,
Right.
Maybe it just makes maybe it opened up a conversation that they had previously, that they were talking about before. So who knows? But it's always something to look back. We know what happens because the cool thing about the ABK deal, and we always forget, is that it proved a lot of us right as far as we do these podcast stuff and, we do this Monday morning quarterback fantasy football stuff, but a lot of us were right. Like these conversations really do exist. A lot of documents came out about lists, all kind of lists came out, and people had, 30-page laundry lists of companies they were looking at buying. We talk about this. We were actually right. you know, to a point. I'm not to give myself too much credit, but you know, we know this stuff happens, so I'm not, you know, really. I really think this stuff that could have possibly happened.
Dutch, bring us back down to earth. What do you think? Do you think there's a chance like we could see like more Ubisoft games land onto Game Pass or just more deals with Xbox in general because of this deal?
Partly. I think they will anyway. I think all the big sub-services want to be where they can be, but Ubisoft Plus being already on Xbox now as a separate subscription is a bit of a different thing.
Yeah.
I don't think, can you even still get EA Access a separate subscription on Xbox now? I don't think you can you?
No,
honestly,
you
I
can't.
don't know.
You cannot. You cannot.
Okay, you can't? Okay.
Yeah, it's part of the service. Yeah, you can't.
I've been in the Game Pass ecosystem so long. I guess
So
I guess it's gone.
Unless it merges entirely into Game Pass, then I don't see that changing.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe some
What
older
about
titles
classics? I mean, PlayStation got it. I just want to hear someone say there's a chance of I'll take this much from Ubisoft.
Classics,
You know,
I would say some of the classic games, some of the older Ubi titles, absolutely, but brand new titles now, they're going to keep that for their own subservice.
I agree,
I'd
especially
say,
since their subservices.
And
I think it's the same price.
One thing somebody had brought up before that I think Microsoft would put in a clause that would be if, you know, say if, you know, Sony tried to buy, you know, Ubisoft, that the rights would either convert to someone else or back to Microsoft at that time. Kind of like
100%.
if somebody was to buy Sony as a company,
right,
then the Spider-Man rights automatically revert back to Marvel regardless.
Right.
It's not there. So I guarantee you there's some kind of special clause.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense
in there, because people are like, you know, well, Sony just needs to buy Ubisoft, and I was like,
and then it's it's done.
I think that works that way, buddy.
No,
because they're not that stupid.
And it's only at that point as well. It's still only the streaming rights. It's not the games.
Right. It's still it's still the thing that nobody cares about. At the end of the day, you can own 100% of a thing that no one gives a shit about, and it doesn't matter. It's not going to move the needle. So who cares?
Santi says he's got his tinfoil hat on.
Okay,
it's always the Kofi.
Tinfoil Kofi hat. Take from me. This means UB Plus. Oh, okay. Yeah, he going cray. All right. This means Ubisoft Plus comes the Game Pass Ultimate. Kay, I did not think you were one of these people. I mean, think about it. Didn't they just increase the price of Game Pass? Might be coverage. Just saying. So listen, I mean, I like that you're saying like, okay, so future coverage, they increased the price so they get Ubisoft. I think the coverage was the acquisition myself, but I like where you're going. I would love to see it happen. I will take that L all day long if something like Ubisoft Plus was to get merged in. But you're talking about something that's literally, that's double the price. You're literally, saving a crazy amount of money if that were ever to happen. So I don't see it, but I like your tinfoil Kofi, your hat. I like your crazy prediction there.
So any more thoughts there, RHETRI, from you? What are you thinking? Anything?
On the Ubisoft side, at best, I think you'll match Sony in the classics, which is what I've been saying since day one. I do not ever see Ubisoft Plus as a whole coming into Game Pass at all. It's the same price as Game Pass is, I think, right now. After the increase, so you're talking a disgusting amount of value. I just don't. It's Ubisoft, man. Like they're kind of greedy in a way. I mean, their own subscription was way overpriced from the beginning. It's not a good value in my opinion. It's a great value if you get it for a month or two and then dump it, but overall their catalog is horrendous. Like if you compare the number of games that they have on their service, it's like 60 something, I think it is, on Ubisoft Plus, and you get to play it everywhere, Luna or whatever, that deal they have with them. It's just not a good deal for the money. It's probably the worst one out there, I think. Unless you just play Ubisoft games, but they go on sale so quickly. I would just buy the damn Ubisoft games 6 months later myself. But it's, I know some people have come at me and be like, it's a good deal, but I don't know, man. Like it doesn't move the needle for me personally. But I don't know, Dave. What do you think?
Well, I'm with you guys. I think everybody pretty much covered it. I think that's it's I think they did it because they figured, okay, cool, this was their concern.
Yeah,
we divested this. There's no reason to stop. They're taking away everything they can think of that they've put up a roadblock for. So and in the end, and there are people like, well, they're just waiting for them to just walk away from the deal. Microsoft is never walking away from this.
They're never
deal.
walking away from this.
Man,
But a lot of us
they're
have said
not.
this.
I don't know why that
they'll
wasn't
go
evident
scorch
from the
earth.
beginning.
I
Yeah.
know.
And
Yeah.
if in the next couple of weeks, if things don't get worked out or up against this deadline, their final deadline of October, whatever it is, Microsoft will just close over them, pay the penalties, and move on, and that'll be the end of it. But nobody, and I mean nobody, can say that they haven't been over backwards to appease this the CMA. So anyway, that's kind of my thoughts on that. Retri, I'm going to hijack the show for just a second.
Yeah, go for it, brother.
Because I know our next subject is actually about probably going to be the Gamescom. But there was something that happened at Gamescom, which is this. And when that happened, Baldur's Gate 3 is coming.
That was actually that was the next subject,
good,
by the way.
Good. Well, then you're gonna love this, because then this happened. The ponies lost their damn minds.
Yeah,
That's the nicest
How
way
is that
to
a new
say
thing?
it.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jesus
well.
Christ. This guy.
Wow.
And if you
It's your
haven't
favorite
seen,
guy.
Wow.
if you haven't seen
My
this,
man.
Wow.
then you need to watch this real quick.
In order to release on the S and X, you can't make this shit up, dude.
It's about to get emotional in here.
You can't make this shit up. Like, this is why I don't get it. Like, I don't understand why people praise Phil Spencer. Like, he legit just lied yesterday in an interview. Like, just straight up fucking lied. And actually placed the blame on the community. Yeah, the conversation was never about parity. Next day, yeah, we're gonna let them remove the co-op split screen from the S version, so there's not going to be parity in the modes. Whatever. It doesn't surprise me a little bit. The only thing that continues to surprise me is that people still praise this man and talk positively about him and these executives. Like, dude, I get it. I know that Jim Lion Ryan. Yes, he's earned that nickname. But come the fuck on, man. Like, you got to be kidding me here.
They are so upset
How
that
is
it
this-
is not going to be a what they tried to overtake it as an exclusive. Wow, they are pretty upset.
I want to know the 400 idiots who are watching this guy live. Like, I just don't understand his takes. And you know what? This guy, I would like to say that he is I think he believes his own bullshit. Like I can usually tell when someone like Reforge, I don't believe him. I think he's just doing it for the clicks. I think he's just doing what he's doing on purpose. I think this guy is just dumb.
Serious.
Yeah, I think this guy's for real. But anyways, yeah, so Baldur's Gate 3 is coming to Xbox this year, which when I put out on Twitter, I had people complaining. They're like, I want it now. I was like, dude, like, come on. Like,
if you
happy.
wanted it now,
Yeah.
if you wanted it now, you would have got
Say
it on
it.
PC, like all the
Bingo.
actual Baldur Gate fans did. So don't
Yeah.
tell me you wanted it now, son. Stop playing.
Yeah,
You ain't want it
exactly.
now.
Like,
you know what I'm saying?
I
So,
mean,
nah.
here's the thing. I want this game, but I actually didn't want it now because of all the other crap that's going on. I'm going to be playing. So I'm
Right.
hoping
Hold on,
that this doesn't drop to like December or something.
let me put
'cause,
you
like-
onto some craziness.
Yeah, go ahead,
I
Pixel.
forgot that I was in the beta for this game in 2020
Right.
because I played it for like a year and then
Yeah.
forgot about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I had paid for it 3 years ago. So when
That's
they
funny.
announced that it's not coming out on play, the wraparound way that they announced that it wasn't coming on Xbox by not just not showing the logo or whatever.
Right.
I was like, what's going on? And then I check and I'm like, oh shit, I already purchased this game. So had I not, I may not have gotten it day one. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I mean, but you know, if you was a Baldur's Gate fan, you would have got this on PC in 2020 when the beta announced, because you're a fan, right? You about that life.
Yeah.
So shout out to all the console gamers fronting like this is their game.
That's crazy.
Here's the thing.
That's
Okay,
the
so,
crazy
like,
part.
I'm gonna push back. I'm gonna push back just a little bit, because I kind of think Baldur's Gate 3 is getting a FOMO effect, very much like what Elden Ring had, where I wasn't big into Souls games.
No. That's,
you know what I'm saying?
Fair for you to say it now. I'm talking more so for the cast who was on it since the initial announcement, before the scores came, talking crazy. I'm talking about those cats.
Oh, gotcha.
Anybody
I know
after the fact, after it scored 9 million, it's like, okay, let me get this game. I get you. I understand. You have good reason to have FOMO. But
I think it's funny that a lot of people
space who never spoke about this game, never. For y'all cats, come on, stop playing, man.
I thought it was funny. A lot of people were saying that the PlayStation guys are gonna like hype this up until they play and realize what type of game it is and go, oh shit, I made a mistake.
But and not to hijack, but even more interesting, now that this announcement has come and they're making excuses and Phil is lying, and we could talk about how lying works in development, right?
Yeah.
But everybody quiet. Where's the hype at? I thought y'all this was y'all game. This is
I tell
where
you,
y'all at, right?
Oh, I thought it was really cool.
Always
Go ahead.
Just disappeared like a fart, right? Just you smelled it, was hot, and then it just disappeared.
On last week's K Asante on the Circle podcast, shout out to K Asante. He had made a really good observation that there's going to be a lot of, diehard Sony fans that think, oh, I need to get this game because everybody says it's great. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to buy it because I can't get Starfield.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll buy it, and then they'll realize what the return policy is, and they'll be pretty upset that they can't return a digital game very easily, if at all.
Oh no, you
PlayStation
can't.
Store.
If you download, it's like 12 hours, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I do want to ask that. So Dutch, you were actually, at Gamescom when this kind of started spreading like wildfire. That guess what? Now it's going to be coming this year. And Phil said he talked to the team. What was that like going around? Did you hear any of this kind of thing on the floor, or what was the talk about?
Nope.
Nothing.
He's like, no, because we were concentrating on the damn games over there.
Right? Yeah.
Nope. No, honestly, not. Like, it was more of a like, looks like Baldur's Gate's coming to Xbox. Okay, sweet. Is it?
Well,
that was literally
that's that.
Yeah.
Do you guys think?
Nobody really cared.
There you go.
Do you guys think it's a big deal that it's not getting like split screen co-op or whatever for the Series S? Which, by the way, the engineers have said, according to Xbox, they said they were gonna work on that.
Yeah.
So it could still happen.
It's just me and Boxy said this last week on both shows before we went to Gamescom. We said, listen, like this is the likelihood of what's going to happen is the split screen they'll discover it's going to take too long to bring the S. The only workaround is to release it for the X and the S without split screen co-op. What they've chose to do is just say, okay, Series X can have it, Series S can't, but we'll continue to work on bringing that to the console later on. It's exactly how it's turned out. It's a case of, we'll release it as is right now because the game in itself works. The actual market of those who, and they'll have it, Microsoft have that data. How many people who actually play these split screen modes on console? Okay, it's 0.1% of players. So what's the point in holding these games up? Like, we'll work on it in the background. We'll get it ready for some point in 2024 when it releases as a mode on Series S. But up until then, you can play it in as single player. Have you seen a single person stream this game in co-op split screen?
I don't think I have.
I've not.
I don't think I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's on PC.
There's your use case
scenario, on PC. Has anybody actually play a split screen on PC? Ever?
Like ever? Or
nope, I don't think so. No.
Ever? Nope. It's a mode on PC. Does anybody use that modem? No. Okay. When was the last time
It's
someone
much
used
like the
split
cloud.
screen?
It's a lot like the cloud, isn't it, Dutch? Like no one's using it. So
Everyone keeps asking. Everyone's like so upset about this mode that no one uses. Like I
Right.
never
Yeah, it's
understand the
ridiculous.
kickback for it. It's like,
Ridiculous.
oh, I'm so unhappy and blah 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 blah. And it comes down to it, and the guy that was so unhappy about it not being there doesn't even turn the mode on in the first place.
right, yeah.
Why? What are you getting so upset about? I understand people want choices, but just put your actual thinking cap on for a second and use logic, and like just think, what is the point in holding up an entire game for a mode that's not used?
There
Why?
you go, K.
Yeah.
Mr. K Asante. I've only seen it used on Steam Deck to prove it's possible.
But even on Steam Deck, it's a mode that has been disabled on the Steam Deck because it
Wow.
can't be ran correctly, and someone has hacked the game in order to get it to run on the Steam Deck.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was okay. I didn't know it was a hack. All right, so
It was
that's
disabled.
definitely
Yeah, the mode
that's
disabled
definitely
on Steam
different.
Deck.
Right. All
Mode's
right.
disabled
So
on Steam Deck.
I mean, it's good news. It's good news. Whatever Phil did talking to Larry and team or whatever.
One thing I will say is,
yeah.
Yes.
it would have caused more issues for themselves had he bent the rules for parity for one game and said, no, okay, so you just for this game, you don't have to have it in X, Y, and Z, and then they didn't bring split screen in the future. That will open a can of worms for more nefarious companies like EA's and Ubisofts to use excuses.
Take advantage. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only thing, right? It's another like precedent thing that makes me like worry. Like I really kind of hope that split screen gets on there, however the hell they do it. Cloud, I don't care. But yeah, I am a little worried that like, oh boy, you just opened up Pandora's box a little bit. And you know, I don't like see Phil as the liar. Oh, I lied to you. Like, I think that's being a little dramatic.
They had to put in, and they have to make sure that that does come to Series S at some point, so that others don't try and bend the rules, because they're doing it just to make sure this game gets on console in the short term, and not have everybody wait for this game till next year just for a Series S mode that no one uses.
Right.
So it's more of a, we'll get it out this year. And personally, I think because of the hype of Starfield and Spider-Man and Forza and all of these other big games that are coming out literally as Baldur's Gate's releasing on PlayStation, by the time the end of the year comes and this game releases anyway, the hype's absolutely dissipated. It's gone. There's a very good chance we possibly see this as part of this marketing thing to get players more interested in Baldur's Gate again, jumping into Game Pass in December, because Stalker is no longer there, and that's been shifted out to next year. It's a possibility that they use this as a kind of, okay, apologies to the fans for having this issue and get it into Game Pass for December.
That would be crazy, and you're not the first person that has said that to me, actually. So I would love to see that happen. That would be a great holiday game to get into Game Pass. And like you said, there's nothing there that we know of right now. Certainly nothing big. I'm sure there could be some great indie games dropping in December, but there's a hole there. So, you know, why not? So guys, I think we should move on to the reason that I wanted to do this podcast. I want to talk about Gamescom. And I think I'll start with PTK. So I'm just curious, anything like any game at the show that you really got hyped for? I know a lot of what was at Gamescom is stuff we've already seen.
Aware of already.
But there was a decent amount of like new trailers for XYZ for whatever game, fill in the blank. But was there anything that you saw, PTK, or anything that excited you from Xbox or from any third parties or anything during Gamescom? It could be hardware too. There was some new hardware stuff that was shown as well. So.
Well, I guess the first thing for me is this is the first time in a few years that I was really actually interested in Gamescom. I actually had like a vested interest like in what was going to be shown, even though you're right, a lot of the stuff we already knew was going to be there, you know, but still, it was still great seeing it. You know, it's getting updated trailers and new trailers and seeing new gameplay and answering, you know, devs answering questions that we have, you know, as consumers is always nice, and getting updates on those things. But yeah, it was a ton of games. I'm Black with Wukong, getting more gameplay from that. Obviously, you know, it's
more of that
for years. Yeah, more of it. I mean, it's I don't know how
I'm hearing
many.
that. over and over and over again. Every single person I've asked that to has mentioned Wukong, including
Absolutely,
myself. Like
absolutely.
Dave's into it. Like everyone
You
seems
have
to
to.
see that game
because
and go, "There's something special going on there."
Because it doesn't look real, man. Like I don't know how many times I need to watch it to realize like this is like we're actually gonna get something like close to that. Like I don't know. Maybe I need to see another trailer. Maybe I don't know. Like I don't know how many times I need to see it. Like every time it just gets better and better for me. You know, I know they made some tweaks here and there, so that obviously was huge. Crimson Desert actually jumped off the page of me as well too. That looked like everything I've ever wanted in like Witcher put together with all these other Zelda and everything. Like there was some insane shit going on in that trailer, man. You're talking about riding a horse, jumping off the horse, skydiving, mid-flight, shooting some fireworks, landing on a parade. You know what I mean? All kind of crazy nonsense going on in the world. The thing about that though, the only thing I is that when they first showed Crimson Desert, it looked like that as well too. And the game didn't necessarily pan out that way. So I have a little bit of reservation, even as great as that trailer looked. I have some reservation that, you know, I'll take a step back and, you know, wait till we get the game in hand and see if it's really that kind of scope, because it looks amazing. Like it looks like everything we've all ever wanted in that kind of game, right? So that was a great game.
I'll give you a thumbs up. It does look like that, and it is that scale.
Really? See, look, man. See.
Did Dutch did you guys play the other desert game? Was it Black Desert? What the hell was it called?
Yeah,
Black
I believe
Desert
it was
the
Black
MMO.
Desert Online. Yeah, it was the MMO.
Okay.
Crimson Desert was meant to be an MMO, and they changed it to make it single player.
Single player.
Oh, okay.
Good.
All right.
Yeah, that seems legit.
So when you say that, Dutch, you mean like everything we saw? That's about what we're gonna get, right?
Yeah, that's gameplay.
Okay. All right. See,
it looks great.
It looks insane.
You're basically PTK is basically saying like so far he's 2 for 2 hitting my list as well.
Insane. It was my pick of opening night live as well. Like when that thing was shown off, it was just insane. We went to ONL as well, but
I know a lot of people have reservations because of the other games. So I'm glad you're here to kind of be like it's a single player thing. It's its own thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It was Jez had behind closed doors to go and see that specifically as well. So the big press had access to some of these things. So I'm not sure why they haven't put additional gameplay out for it, but big press have seen that behind closed doors. Jez has seen it and he said, no, that is the skill, that is the gameplay. We saw quite
that's amazing. Stuff. That's gonna slap. I can't wait to get my hands on that. So I don't want to take up too much time from everybody else. So I'll go through quickly.
No, you're good.
The first Descendant open beta. I've had an eye on that game for a very long time. I know it was shown originally at the Xbox showcase, which was kind of cool. I know it's not coming to Game Pass. When it was announced, it wasn't.
Well, that's free to play anyways, right?
It is. I believe, right?
Okay.
I believe it's free to play. So that'll be fine either way. So that kind of really nullifies that point. What else was there? There was Diablo 4, obviously Season of Blood. You know, we got another trailer for that, another season, and that, you know, obviously I'm still playing Diablo. I don't know how much I'm gonna be playing. Obviously, when Starfield comes out, I think everything's gonna be on pause for a lot of people. But I'm probably still gonna buy the season anyway, just to have it on tuck, because I still want to be able to play something different. You know, because I don't, as great as Starfield I feel like it's going to be, I still have my, you know, weekly, daily kind of games that I'll go back and play stuff, and Diablo is going to be one of those. So that really excited me as well too. But there was a bunch of other stuff. I know we talked about Towerborn. I know that was big for me. That was really, really big for me. And just to hear what you said about it, Dutch, really cements and confirms like what I saw in that trailer and everything I saw coming out of Gamescom, all the, you know, pictures, and I know they had some gameplay footage as well too, like 8 or 9 minutes, I believe, which really looked really fun, Castle Crashers vibes. You know, I just want to get my hands on it, man. Want to get my hands on. Was it next year, right? I believe 24.
It's next year, yeah. You can actually sign up for the Insider program as well, and you can potentially play that a bit earlier.
Okay, so I have to do that, but yeah, that would be my highlights essentially.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, all good picks, man. You're definitely speaking my language right now. I'll go to you, Pixel Bit. What were some of the highlights for you, or anything that stood out at Gamescom?
Yeah, I think, you know, PTK, he kind of covered it, you know what I'm saying? But on the indie scene, there's this game called Europa from Studio Ghibli that looked pretty interesting.
Yes.
It's kind of a take on Zelda, right? But
Okay, I
with
don't think I
different
saw
kind of
that
art
one.
style. That looked pretty
Yeah.
slick. You know what I'm saying? So I like that. And there was a couple of different other indies that I saw, but I can't remember the names, as well as that Towerborn looked crazy. Like, you know, because I like to have those smaller games
Yeah,
to
me
play
too.
as a palate cleanser, right? So you know, mainly I think you know, to me it was more of the indie games that I was impressed with, outside of like, you know, the news coming out from the bigger games, as well as that Dark Tide. What is it? Is it Dark Tide? It's coming to Game Pass.
Yeah.
Finally coming to Xbox. So you know, that was a nice little announcement for a game that I played a little bit when it first launched. So you know, we'll see how much they were able to improve it since that time frame. But you know, outside of that, like I don't have any other specific ones. But I thought, you know, just in general, it was nice to have that much news coming out of the show, right? Updates for like Forza and stuff like that, right? Just like general news and stuff. So I think, you know, it's very informative. So it's probably more so for me than other years. I thought like this was like more of an impactful show this year. So yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we got a ridiculous amount. Like Xbox just kind of went all out this year. They had like, I think up to like 50,000 square feet.
Yeah, it looked like they owned the whole shore floor. It was kind of crazy.
It looked like they owned the whole damn thing. It was a little odd. I mean, like from our perspective, it looked like that. I don't know from Dutch's perspective, like how it looked in comparison to everyone else. I'm guessing no one had that even close to that amount of square footage going on. But we'll go to exactly. We'll go to you, Dutch. I would just kind of I would like to like kind of bounce off of just some stories you have, or just also just kind of like the feeling. Was this your first Gamescom that have you gone to, or have you been before?
Yeah,
Okay.
first Gamescom. Yeah.
What a great first year to go to, dude. Like honestly, like I couldn't have like this is the year I think to go to Gamescom for, especially if, you know, as someone who's a fan of Xbox. But can you tell us any of the things that you saw on the show floor that excited you, or you want to go into any of the stuff? Like you talk about Towerborn if you want more, or anything else, but what excited you being there right there in Cologne, Germany?
Yeah, I think it was just the whole vibe of it. Of course, so Xbox's booth was 50,000 square feet. So it was a juggernaut of a booth, and it really stood out. So as soon as you went into it was the main hall. As soon as you went into the north entrance, you could not miss it. Sega was, as soon as you walked in, it was Sega left hand side, which had Persona 5, Persona
3 Reload,
5 Tactica, Sonic Generations, Endless Dungeon. They had a few games like that there. They had the next booth up. They had the new Like a Dragon game. I think it's called The Man That Has No Name or something. Something ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like The Man Who Forgot His Name or something like that. Is that what it is?
Something like that. Yeah,
it's a long title.
Yeah. So they had that there as well. They had Street Fighter on the other side, and then right at the back of the room, which you couldn't miss. Of course, you got big blue lights of Sega, and then back of the room, just this juggernaut of an area for Xbox, which was just massive. First booth on the left, Forza Motorsport. Next up was Sea of Thieves on right beside it, and then beside that was RHETRI Untold. Across from that was Elder Scrolls Online and their new Necrom DLC that's coming out. So they were kind of doing a little section on that. Towerborn was right there. Jusant was there, and a few of the other kind of indie games.
Did you have? I'm just curious. Sorry to interrupt you. On Jusant, were you able to see any gameplay yourself, or
you could play it.
Play it? Yeah,
you could play it. Yeah,
I was just curious.
Cool, nice, relaxing game.
Yeah, that one looked like it would be a nice little indie, and that's obviously coming to Game Pass as well. So I was just curious.
Yeah, that's nice, relaxing. It's not overbearing. It's just a chill game. It's a climbing game, a climbing adventure game, little puzzles and things like that. So plays well, looks great. It's a nice palate cleanser, shall we say?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that game looked really fun.
Yeah. Of course, they announced at Opening Night Live that Age 4 was on console. That booth was there and ready to play.
That's
Naturally.
great, man. I mean, I know it's not, I put out on the Twitters Age of a shadow drop, but I got corrected. Like, well, it's not a shadow drop because we knew it was coming. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever, dude. Yeah, I guess that's not considered a shadow drop per se by definition, but anything that surprises me that drops out of nowhere to me is a shadow drop. But I think that's a great, that's a great little give me, because they could have pushed out more marketing for that. They could have tried to juiced out Age 4 for, to get more people to play it, but just kind of dropping it on the 22nd, I thought was pretty cool. And they've been working on that for a while, obviously. And we know that, I think it was Relic is the other team that was working with World's Edge to get that to come out, and they had layoffs. So there was a little scare that we might not see Age 4 for a while, like possibly next year. We thought it might get bumped into 2024, but we got it. And I suggest people play it, because that is, I don't play a lot of games on PC with the actual keyboard and mouse, but that game I did and I loved it. So hopefully it translates very well to the Xbox, which I'm sure it will, because Age 2 I heard nothing good things about. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Also had Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty playing there.
Yeah.
Of course, we had Armored Core 6 there at the Xbox booth.
Nice.
As well. Stalker 2, as we kind of covered off before, was there and playable. And of course, then you had the demonstration, the 20-minute demo for Starfield, which was quite in depth. Depends on whether or not people want to hear what that 20-minute demonstration was for, because of course people don't want spoilers for the intro of the game, but that's essentially what it was. So it was the first 2 hours of the game broken down into 20 minutes. So it was the entire opening story beat, essentially.
So was it more about narrative, or were they also showing you like the mechanics behind the game as well, like the different types of mechanics that are in it, or was it all based on the story?
Yeah, so you saw, so the opening, I would say the opening 13, 14 minutes was story beat. So it was kind of you as the as a miner going down at the mines, doing your kind of day-to-day job. You're being introduced into this company. So then they pull you aside and go, okay, you need to come over here. We've noticed this anomaly over here, so you're going to help us kind of figure out what this anomaly is. So you go through the caves, and then these two kind of instructors are saying, okay, well, like the anomaly's just up ahead, so go and investigate that. If anything happens, we're right here, so we'll come and get you. And then you black out, and then that's character creator. And then from there, then you go outside. You speak to as a lot of people have seen in already some of the cutscenes and things, but you speak to a guy that is like standing next to the ship. He talks to you, he kind of understands that you've had this interaction with this artifact in the cave, which made you black out. And then pirates descend and start attacking, land and like drop ships. All these guys jump out and start like having a firefight with you and the guys around this outpost, this mining outpost. So you grab a pistol, you grab your med pack, and there's a whole gunfight kicks off, and like, everyone's involved, AIs, and everything's all firefighting away. And everyone was killing everybody. It wasn't like there was no dumb AI on screen or anything like that. Everyone was putting the work down. And you kill this one guy, and then that's it. Then the ship flies off into space, and then essentially you give chase. You choose to go up into space. Of course, it's a little 1 second kind of duration between that selecting going into space, take off, and then in space. So there's no changes, no load screens.
Nice.
And then as soon as you get in there, it's the craft's waiting for you to get into a big space battle. So you go and have a big space battle up there, and then when that's done, fly off into the main city, and that's essentially where the little demonstration ends. But I think what they wanted to do with the 20 minutes that they give with there was build up what the atmosphere and the feeling of the game was. That game is looking mightily pretty, mind. Like unbelievably pretty.
I think the thing that impresses me the most about Starfield is the illumination. It's the lighting, dude. It's unbelievable how
amazing.
beautiful the lighting is in that game. And I'm
Yeah.
really hoping that they win
Yeah,
art
facts.
direction. I'm gonna keep banging on that
Yeah,
drum.
I mean,
on one of Dutch's video, you mentioned something about the texture work. You
Yeah.
mind giving people some enlightenment on how good the texture work was on it?
It was like I've not seen this level of fidelity in many, if any, games recently. Like the level of detail on just the uniforms and just the opening segment, and all of you will see it as soon as you boot up the game anyway. But the level of details that you see in, like, it's better than what we see in this video as well that you've got on screen. Like the level of detail on the characters, the armor, the weapons, all the NPCs, like all the uniforms. So you can see like the little stitching parts on the badges and everything, and then like even when they're like changing position and things, like the actual textures of it bounce off with the light, and the light changes. All the different stitches in the fabric across like all the uniform and things like that, and all the like they've got metal pipe work and things that go to their like backpack or whatever they're wearing, and all of that has its own different kind of sheen and glow, and whether it's rusty or non-rusty, and just the level of detail they've got in
That's that physical base rendering, boy. That's
Crazy,
good,
man. Yeah,
it is crazy detail. But you mentioned the global illumination. This, like what you've seen even just in these videos, this opening segment really shows it off well, because it's this dark dingy cave, and then you've got these little spotlights that just pin down this cave that kind of light it up beautifully. And then you've got coupled with the kind of detail in the caves, the global illumination, then you've also got this interstellar-esque kind of wondrous, mysterious space soundtrack that's going off in the background that really builds up the atmosphere that goes through it. And it's just like, this is just going to be something special, this. And it just keeps going, and it just doesn't decrease from that. So like even the segments of them doing this, like it's going to be a serious game. I am absolutely sure people are going to be blown away by it.
Yeah, I mean the thing looks beautiful. I mean my one worry was
seen this on like a big ass screen. Like they had a huge theater, this massive theater, this really nice screen, big speakers, so you could really hear everything nice and thumpy.
Nice immersion, yeah,
big immersion, and the crowd reactions, the public crowd reactions to this game showing off that segment was insane. We seen it, and everyone was hyped, and obviously I got in when Todd Howard and Pete Hines was there, so they were doing the introduction to the video, and introducing that, then introduced the Fallout TV show. So it was only shown off twice. So I saw that, but
I saw a low-res version of that. What are your thoughts about the Fallout TV show? And we can go back into Starfield if you want. I'm just curious.
Fallout looks insane. They look like they've put some real good effort into that.
Yeah, it looks like they spent some money. I mean, they got not Christopher Nolan. What's the Nolan brother?
The other guy from the other director from Interstellar.
The other Nolan.
Yeah,
and they got like Lisa Joy from Westworld as one of the producers and writers. I saw Walter Goggins. I saw in the footage that you guys saw a very crappy version because it was through someone's phone. But I saw him in the show as well. It looked like he was like a mutant or something.
Yeah,
there, but
that video that was recorded that was leaked was actually at the same showing that I was at. That was the room that I was in at that time, and it was released at the time that show, because that guy must have posted it the moment we finished watching.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, because I saw that, I was like, yeah, this looks real. This is not fake. It looked.
No.
I've seen a lot of the stuff on the production behind the scenes there, and it looks like they are definitely getting the aesthetic of Fallout done very, very well. Thank you, Jonathan Nolan. Thank you, Amit. Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy, who both worked on Westworld, on another great show, and that's kind of what gave me faith in this. It's kind of you got to get the right people onto a show like this from the top. down. So
Yeah,
I
and
think,
they've got the Brotherhood of Steel in there as well. Obviously, you've seen the Mutant on there. But then it's also the fact that they did the whole kind of city and initial destruction, the initial Fallout segment of Fallout, when they show loads of different nukes dropping on the city and things like that. It was like, this is high budget.
I wasn't sure if they were going to do that.
CGI.
I wasn't sure if they were going to do the actual nuking, but I'm so glad they didn't like cheap out and just do like the aftermath thing, but show shit.
They showed the actual start of Fallout, the actual
Right.
start of it, which is really cool. So yeah, I'm really hyped for that. But going back to the kind of reaction from Starfield as well, outside of the press and the trade days, which of course naturally every time somebody went in, you'd hear their applause and things like that. But when the general public were lining up and we were just going around kind of different booths, meeting with either the hardware team or meeting with developers or whatever we were doing, every time you wandered into that, you knew when a new Starfield showing was on, because the
you
crowd
can hear the crowd.
like massive applause. And
I was watching some of the Xbox coverage when they're sitting at the couch and Charlie and everybody's doing a bunch of interviews, and dude, it was, you can hear it, and from where they were doing their interviews, the Starfield theaters far back, and you can hear people screaming, dude. Like, it's coming through their mics. I'm like, oh my god, that must be so annoying for them doing the interviews. But you could hear it was like listening to a bunch of people like on a roller coaster all go like all at the exact same time. So I don't know what the hell was going on in that, but it sounds like it was a ton of fun. So
and it was crazy to see the lines. Like, that was a 4-hour queue when people knew that was just to see the game, not to play it.
Wow. That's
incredible.
Insane. Like, if people didn't know what the hype was like, and that was public days, that wasn't like us in this little bubble community. We're talking like 320,000 people walking through this convention center.
Right.
So the hype behind this game is insane. If people queue 4 hours just to watch a 20-minute gameplay demo.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people went there specifically for Starfield too.
Yeah,
obviously.
it says a lot about the hype around it, right?
Yep, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Any tell us about any other experiences you had. I got to ask you a question. This is a weird one. This is kind of going totally off. How did it smell in there? When you got 350,000 people there, is it bad? I've heard some stories. I'm just
like
curious.
Spaceballs.
Is it?
I mean, if you know where it is, if you go into like the merch stand or any of the Japanese stands and things like that, yeah, probably did, because you've got a lot of uwu kind of people, that bigger guys that wear all these funky t-shirts. But no, me and Xbox stand, a lot of the main stands and things like that, a bit of the open areas, they're fine. Didn't smell wise. It was.
I mean, it looked like there was a lot of space there. Like, every time I was looking at the crowds, it didn't. And tell me if I'm wrong, but from what I saw, it didn't seem like you guys were. It didn't seem overcrowded. Maybe that's just because of the amount of square footage that was there. But it seemed like when people were just walking around from booth to booth, it didn't seem that bad. It didn't like it didn't seem like Disney World-esque type of feeling.
It was twos and fro's. At some parts of the day it was okay, and then at other parts of the day it was really busy. Like, couldn't get moved busy.
Gotcha.
But it depends on when you did it. So I mean, in between that, especially public day, I wouldn't recommend that to anybody. Public day is just a waste of time.
Dutch, let's. I just want to pull this up real quick and let you describe these couple of pictures.
Yeah,
Nice.
Of course. So you've got Boxenberger on the left, of course. You've got John from Xbox Era. You've got Commodus, who works for Microsoft, which is just behind John from Xbox Era. Jez Corden in the middle there. Xbox Mick at the back. Right next to him is Forza Irwin, of course. Right in front of Forza Irwin is myself. And you've got Gaz, Ben, and Sammy from the Game On Daily crew.
Nice.
I knew I recognized the guy to Gaz's right. I'm like, I've seen him in his videos. I was like,
yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
they're just
Boxenberger
used
is
primarily
tall.
for the sauce. You never see them on the podcast. They are sauce.
Right.
So Boxenberger is tall. We know that for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, so I'm just put it in perspective. I'm 5'8".
There you
So
go.
there you go. That's AC Bongos or Graham Boyd, as everybody knows him.
Yep, know him. Yep.
Nice.
Nice, good pick.
I bet you
Melissa
love
Jurgen.
this. Didn't you?
Oh,
Melina Jurgen.
nice.
Yeah.
One of my favorites. I'm so
Yeah,
glad you got
super
a picture with her. She's awesome.
Yeah,
Gotta be one of your
Hellblade
highlights.
herself. Yeah.
she's added us on Instagram and everything now as well. So got direct connections with them now, which is good because it
Nice.
took a while. But so funny story is about this one is so we took that picture, put it up onto Twitter and shared. Well, it's been awesome to meet like eventually Melina and the Ninja Theory team, so on and so forth. And then they retweeted it. And then later on at Xbox Fan Fest, when everything was dying down and we're kind of just talking to Aaron and things like that afterwards, Melina and Will were standing there from Ninja Theory, and they looked at us and they like waved us over, and they were like, "Now we know who you are." It's like we only realized when you retweeted the picture who the hell you were. And obviously the know us from the custom console that I created and things like that. So
Yeah,
we've got direct connections now, which is good. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah, maybe those
trying to
connections
work
that they'll put that beard in the next game, man.
Yeah, that's the first thing Melina did.
honestly,
Need to
Dutch,
be a
you could
character
fit,
in
you
Dutch
could literally
DLC,
take Dutch and
right?
put him right into that game, and you would not blink an eye. It would
Well, I
fit perfectly.
hope Dutch, when the game comes out, that you guys actually get an interview with them when the game actually comes out.
Yeah, that'd be
That's
dope.
what you
First
guys
thing
deserve.
the first thing Melina did when she met us was pull the beard.
Awesome.
Oh, wow, nice.
First thing.
Nice.
Like Santa
like,
Claus or
that's
something. Is this
respect,
real?
that's respect.
It's
That's
real.
awesome.
It's real. Yeah.
She was like, "You need some face paint on." I was like, "Yeah, maybe another time."
Exactly. You need some work here, bro.
right.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Who's the tomato guy? Because I kept seeing him, and I don't know the story behind that.
Irwin's pretty much in charge of distribution and the manufacturing process for tomatoes in most of Europe, if not internationally as well. So
Wow.
these high-end, really tasty tomatoes is Irwin's thing. So he brought a big box for the team.
Wow, that's awesome.
These are really tasty, but I hate tomatoes. I am not a tomato
I don't like
fan.
him either. I don't like him either. Yeah.
But RHETRI, these honestly, really good.
Are they good?
There you
Yeah.
go.
Really?
Wow.
Okay.
I
It's like
do not like tomatoes at all. These are tasty. Like,
Really? Oh
yeah.
man. See, you
Awesome.
never. Yeah. So you just gotta get them from the right spot. It's like when I had
Yeah.
Colombian coffee. Like I don't mess around with black coffee. I put all kinds of crap in my coffee, all the bad
Yeah.
stuff. And I had Colombian coffee, straight up black. I was like, holy shit! This is what people were talking about. Like
Yeah.
that stuff is no joke. So
and that last
Hey, you know.
that last photo, fucking tomatoes on the brain now. That last photo. The last photo was a meal with, on the left-hand side, you had John Donglemans, who's works at Xbox. The lady with the purple hair, she's super cool. She's new to the team for Xbox. She works she's in charge of the marketing for Bethesda on Xbox's side.
Nice.
I feel like I've seen her. Yeah, I feel like I've seen her before. Like she looked very familiar to me.
Right hand side, you've got Matt Chung. He's also Xbox and part of the marketing team as well. So super cool guys. Of course, Aaron Greenberg was there. You had Microsoft for Nintendo, Daniel Schikamus, who's the German, big German guy as well, and of course Forza Irwin. So super cool. Nice. That was just a nice little kind of meal before we all started on the very long Gamescom week. But that was fan feedback, getting to know people. Getting to know community and things like
That's
that.
awesome, bro.
Well, thanks for sharing that, Dutch. I said I knew they were on your Twitter, so I didn't think you mind me pulling them up. And
No,
and
definitely not.
it's so cool that, like I said, I'm happy for you. Since we know you in the community, that I know how much meeting those people and getting in there and because you are a great content provider and you do amazing artwork as well with your controllers and your systems. And to be there with those people and to be recognized as the guy that does that, I think that's great for you, man. So I'm happy for you, dude.
One thing I would say as well about Team Xbox is they absolutely see and hear everything.
Man,
Nice.
you're absolutely
Everything.
right. That is
Like
true.
Aaron, when we were having this meal, Aaron, one of the things he asked me, because he asked us about background and things like that, where am I from, what's my story now, what am I into, what am I doing, like personal conversations. But then he was like, "So what happened to your Twitter account?" Like, what actually happened to your Twitter account?
Really?
Yeah, because you got blasted.
Yeah.
the other
That's
day.
funny.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
So I told him, and he was like, "Yeah, that's ridiculous. Like that's
Yeah.
just insane.
They
I was
really
like, yeah,
do.
they're gonna start again.
Yeah.
Honestly,
That is
they
good.
know everything, and Aaron is just all encompassing. Like people don't understand how much of an interest he takes in the community. So I guarantee, as much as you think he doesn't pay attention to some of the things anyone says, if you were to meet Aaron in real life, you would absolutely know of what you've done, your content
Wow.
you've put out there, the way you're interacting in the community. He'll know you. As soon as you say who you are, you'll be go, oh yeah, awesome, yeah, nice to meet you. He knows it.
Well,
Yeah,
I just
super
want
interactive.
to say, I
better
guess
behave
gotta say
myself.
this. I gotta do this real quick here. Whoops, I went to the wrong guy.
Pixel.
I did.
Hey, don't Pixel.
Hey,
Hey,
don't
don't-
do it.
Who's his hand
What's
up,
up, Big
Bella?
Sexy?
All right.
Everybody, there's Big Sexy right there. That's who that is. Yeah, but I just want to say this one thing. So if Aaron Greenberg ever watches this, we'd sure love to interview you, Aaron. Whatever we need to do to make that happen, Aaron. We love you, and you're the best.
That's right.
Just
That'd be awesome.
throwing that out there.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that would be cool.
Never know. Shoot your shot. You gotta
Right?
shoot your
No,
shot.
why
Never
don't
know.
you
Yeah.
why don't
I'm
you
just
shoot your
playing,
shot
man.
on Twitter and
That's
let the
too
community
funny.
chime
That's
in.
too
We'll
funny.
get you that interview.
That's too
Exactly.
funny.
It's funny, you know what
Yeah.
it is? It's funny because when
Yeah.
Aaron walks around, he's always got like 2 or 3 people with him that he's like photographers / like minders.
Yeah.
So they're like, no, you can't do that, Aaron. You're okay, you're good to do that, Aaron.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's like personal PR crew.
PR's
Like,
got
no,
PR.
no,
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, because
I love
Aaron does, believe it or not, Aaron does like some messiness at times, but he has to.
Yeah, man.
Pull
You
it
should've
back a
seen-
little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like a real Energizer bunny. I know you talked about that earlier. He's literally all over the place. When we were at that showcase
Nonstop.
back in July, he was everywhere. You would think there was 3 Aaron Greenbergs running around. Like he was doing
Yeah.
everything. Like you said, he can be a bit off the cuff sometimes as well too. They got to rein him
Yeah.
in a little bit. So
Yeah, he's funny.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I watched.
That's
We
awesome.
watched. I had a posting from Xbox Air or Xbox On, sorry, of they're interviewing Aaron, and he was talking about FanFest, and he was being interviewed, and he completely took over the interview and started interviewing another guy from the Xbox community that he really liked. It was hilarious. Like I kind of felt bad for the person who was trying to interview him because he just took over the entire thing and he started asking this guy a bunch of questions. It's like the girl wasn't even there. Like,
That's so funny.
okay, Aaron, yeah, just doing his thing. But
it was
yeah.
great. But like in terms of the entire community, feel like it is legit, and that's what people
Yeah.
don't think people like to hear that
Yeah.
like people aren't being paid shills. It's just the
Mhm.
entire Xbox team, start to top, are absolutely legit. Like we were just
Yep.
sitting outside having some bratwurst and just chilling out and things like that. And the next thing we know, we'll get a message from Kelly Lombardi, the head of global marketing for Xbox. Just like, oh, I know you guys are around. Like, whereabouts are you? Like, come say hello. I'm like, oh, well, okay. I was like, where are you standing? She was like, oh, I'm at Towerborn. So went to meet her at Towerborn. That's how we got
Nice.
in with the Stoke guys. And it was like that. And then we were later on, standing outside, just again having some food and things like that. James Shields just happens to stand beside us. Like, hey, James, what are you up to? And then he
awesome.
comes,
Wow,
like, he
that's cool.
walks away. We just finished chatting. He walks away, comes back, and he's like, actually, are you guys free for half an hour to have a meeting about hardware? Because we need
Like
feedback on the hardware and everything.
That's
like, yeah,
cool.
Yeah,
It's
that
like,
stuff
just shoot us
happens,
when you're
man.
free. So then we had what was meant to be a half an hour meeting turned into an hour-long meeting. They actually
Right.
cancelled the meeting because they had so much info from us.
That's cool. That's cool.
Sort of really in-depth meeting about that. But that's what they're like. They're super active. Like they're always like talking to everybody, and it's all completely genuine. Like none of it.
Did you let them know that we need a portable? Like, we want a Switch version of the Xbox, or are we just talking?
He can't discuss that.
I wanna
Anyway,
know.
That's
I
crazy.
wanna
No. Look at him looking away.
Right? Yeah, right. We're not even.
But seriously, let me take
All
over
right,
the conversation
confirmed.
just a
You heard
second.
it.
Hold on.
You
hold
heard
on.
it, but you didn't hear it.
No. We're not getting anybody in trouble. So what I was gonna, I'm just playing. But what I was gonna say is that welcome out to the over 130 people in the chat. Thank you all so much for being here. here. We have Mav from Fun Speculation that jumped in and joined us too.
Hey, what's
buddy?
up, Mav?
Thank you so
Mav?
much for being here. He was busy earlier tonight. I believe he was on the Fonza show, which is
Yeah,
awesome.
he was.
So,
Yeah.
he
yeah,
was,
so it's great to have you on here in the chat. And man, what a great community. What a awesome. I love the community. I love the people about it. I love everything about it. And then plus, I'm so glad you had a great experience, Dutch. And I know PTK, you were at the Games Fan.
Yeah.
That was a few months back.
Yeah.
You have a great picture. You put a couple of pictures up of that. I don't know
Yeah.
why you don't put yourself on camera. I'm just saying. But you're a handsome guy. But that's okay. I'm not putting you on the spot, man. I'm just messing.
It's all good.
But no, it's so I'm not really sure where we left off, or do we want to just go ahead and jump on to another subject, or what do we want to do, RHETRI? As it's
Well, I was going to
about half
ask
hour
Dutch
left.
if he had any other stories like about Gamescom that maybe weren't directly like video game related. Just maybe just
well,
about the actual experience.
event.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The event itself. Yeah, I'm just
Yeah,
curious.
of course. So
I'm
again,
living
as I
vicariously
mentioned
through you.
as I mentioned before, as content creators, or as trade or as press or anything like that, Gamescom is absolutely worth everybody's time and money to go and experience. For the connections alone that you build, not just with Xbox, but through even in the airport on the way back, we bumped into like 3 different PR guys for different publications and different games publishers. Then we're just like, oh yeah, like we'll hook you up with keys with these different indie games and things like that. And this was just on the flight back. Like all
Right,
these
yeah.
people based in the UK that had been at Gamescom, and it's the connections you build throughout with everybody there that really enhances everything. Like it's the amount of people that I've met this last week has been absolutely insane, and everyone's been super genuine. The people I've met, of course, as you mentioned, is with the likes of Gaz and Jez and all of those. The first thing that everybody thinks is when you meet somebody that you've been speaking to online for years is, are they going to be the same people in person? Are they going to be completely different?
Right.
Yeah, and we're all exactly the same, and we all had the
Yeah.
same humor. And like John from Xbox Hero was super cool, and he had his partner there as well, and she was cool. He was his PA for the week.
Oh, that's awesome.
PA. But no, everyone was super cool. We kind of did their own thing. Everybody could kind of go off, and you'd be like Mick from our guys. He was just floating around with the Sea of Thieves crew and things like that all the time, and it was just a really cool community experience. But for networking, it is unbelievable. So many good things to pick up from that. But as a negative, public days, do not even waste your time. If you're planning on going on public days to try and play games, it's not worth it. It's worse than Disney. Like Black Myth Wukong.
Just the lines itself was just
well,
not
Black
worth
Myth
it.
Wukong on trade day was like almost 3 hours long on trade day. And on a public day, as soon as the doors opened, we went to Black Myth to try and catch it before it got super busy, and it was already 5 hours long.
Holy crap!
That's crazy.
Xbox, get that on Game Pass, dude. Get
Just
that on
Yo,
Game Pass. I'm
for
just
real,
saying.
like
You really, I think they
of all
really
the
got to drop
games
the
we've
bag.
seen, like from the from UE5, whenever that game was, whatever year that game was shown, that was the most next gen game we saw, as far as I'm
I know.
concerned. Like
It's been a
just
next gen game for years.
and not just because of the visuals, right? It's just the cinematography, like the way that they're handling the game.
The combat,
the way,
you can see the
combat,
hair,
just
like the
everything
hair,
about it
the
is
hair
just
on
so
like the
wild.
bad guy that was just like waving around. I'm like,
floating,
everything is impressive.
The floating blood as he's as they're fighting in blood, right? And it's like it's just the waves are like moving and everything. It's like it's just that game looks crazy. So I really hope they I really hope they hit the target on this. And please,
I hope so too, man.
Please make sure it's on Xbox.
We gotta make UE5 sound good again. Like it was like
The
it was getting
game
all this
was,
praise, and now it's getting
beating
shit
right
on
now,
constantly.
man. It's taking a beating. Yeah.
So the game was playable, of course, although we didn't bother waiting 5 hours to play it.
Yeah, 5 hours.
The game
that's a
was
long
playable.
time.
It was on PC, so it was playable on PC. But
yeah,
a lot
we
of
still
those,
don't know, Dutch.
those
I'm not
games were-
sorry about this, but do we know if it's coming to console at all?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, it is
It's
for
coming
sure. Okay.
to PC, Xbox Series X, S, and PlayStation 5.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. So that's good news for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
But overall, conference was absolutely ginormous. Like that thing is just massive. It was probably about 10 halls full of different trade sections. You had one that was literally just for business, and that was to do interviews and things like that. That was at the very back of the long hallway. You had a massive merch hall that was like 50, 60 merch stalls deep.
Ooh,
and it could have been
Jesus.
like statues or pop characters or cups and pens or t-shirts or gaming peripherals, whatever it was. It was like a massive warehouse full of resellers and things like that. So that was massive. You had something equally as large for just indie devs.
Really?
A hall just full of indie developers from different countries. You had like indie developers Portugal, indie developers Brazil, indie developers Belgium, Germany, so on and so forth. And that was just a massive, massive hall full of just indie devs and indie games. We're talking like little one-man developers and things with a tiny little computer trying to showcase his game.
I'm guessing you got a lot of cards from that one because of what you do
Yeah.
for the indie side.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a great
I'll take your
opportunity.
card, I'll take your card,
Absolutely.
I'll take your
Yeah.
More for me, it was the publishers, because they're the best ones to get it in with, because the devs don't really do any of that PR work for them.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
So they hook up with publishers and go from there. But then it's trying to, and I know a lot of people, especially a lot of the press people, outside of the big ones, don't book in loads of stuff because it's impossible to keep up with, because things run over. I missed a couple with Wired because I was with the Xbox guys having a meeting, so I missed a couple there, so I had to apologize to them and said, listen, I can't miss this one. They were just like, oh, we'll just stop by when you can and we'll fit you in. But yeah, it's the organizational thing is trade days, press days is the absolute. If you go in there as a creator, it's absolutely fantastic. If you go in there just for general public, I wouldn't waste your time. You're not going to play any games. So I'd recommend, if you are going, go as creators. Or
how was that process? How was that process getting, like, do you have to get approved to be considered a creator? Like, was it hard to do that? Like,
yes, we went through the trade route. So we went under Game On Daily.
okay.
We went under that branch because, of course, naturally for us, even though Boxenberger is like 5,000-6,000, I'm like 2,500 or something now. We didn't get it. We didn't get in as creators, so we went through trade. So we went into Game On Daily. And no Xbox Era got in as official press now, but it's part of the reason we're going to go and look into getting a website and everything set up, because that's more looked into as a publication and press than it is anything else. Much easier to do it that way. Creator is complete luck of the draw. You could have 1,000 subs, you could have 50,000 subs. It makes no difference. We've seen people get declined with 100,000 subscribers. And we saw people get accepted with 100 subscribers. So it really did not matter what size it was. It was just whatever.
Okay.
But that was this year. And I don't think it worked to their best ability, because when we went in, there was all manners of people there that clearly weren't doing anything productive. Like, it was families with kids on trade day.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, I would have been like,
and then we saw people in like cosplay and
man.
things on trade day, and you're like, I understand the cosplay for public days, but like, what are you, in terms of content creation and getting game footage, what are you doing? Because you're not clearly here to do that. And that's what trade day is for. And the likes of Xbox and a few other big guys were saying, yeah, we've had complaints from big press, like that they can't get the footage, they can't get near some of the games because it's just too crowded. And Xbox were the only ones as well at Gamescom that segmented off the entire the morning portion of the trade day to only press. So you could only go to the Xbox booth between 9 and 12 as press, and they wouldn't let anybody in unless you were completely sealed off. So beyond that, then it got ridiculously busy and you couldn't capture anything, you couldn't do anything. So that's when it got difficult. So I think they messed up on the trade day a little bit with the types of creators they let in. So I think they need to refine it a bit more and look at what the content is, and not just let these TikTokers on that dress up. As much as as much as that's cool, like you need to, I think they need to really dive into some of these people and make sure that they're actually creating content that's relevant to what Gamescom is.
Yeah. I mean, it's important. That's how we're getting all. That's how we were getting all
Yeah.
the good information we are online. That's what that doesn't just serve the people at Gamescom. It serves the way more people beyond the 350,000 that are at Gamescom. For
Yeah,
people
well, that's
like
what
me
the
that are
public days
watching
are
your
for as
footage.
well. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what the
Right.
public days are for. That's when your cosplayers and everybody have fun and so on and so forth. But those cosplayers aren't capturing footage. They're not writing articles.
Yeah.
They're not doing anything that's like about the games that are being shown off there that are there for the trade, first of all. So it was a
Right.
bit of a mess up. It was a little bit of a letdown there. Opening night live was a funny one as well. That was a funny one.
Okay.
Um,
How do you mean?
uh,
Can you elaborate? I guess is
yeah, of course. So we
Without getting in
got
trouble.
there. So open night live was 8 p.m. European time when the show started. We got there at about 25 past 7, and they closed off the drink stalls and the snack stalls and everything, and a half an hour beforehand, and they wouldn't open them, wouldn't serve anything. So it was done. And you sat down, and then you had spotlights in your face all the way throughout the show, so you couldn't see anything.
Where were you in the crowd essentially? Like, were you mid? Like, were you in the back?
Middle.
Like
In the
in
middle.
the middle? Okay.
Yeah, right next to the teleprompter with all the writing on.
Oh, right. Were you able to meet Mr. Keeley or Jeff, or were you?
No. I wouldn't have either, to be fair. But no,
He's not a big loss.
he's an in and out kind of guy. He does not mess
Yeah.
around. Like, he does his show and then he goes. He's not sticking around for anybody.
Yeah.
Of course, Zack Schneider was there, as everybody knew. But the opening like live was cool. That was a good intro. Obviously, you start off with Starfield. You kind of almost segmented into Crimson Desert. You had Black Myth. You had a whole bunch of awesome games at the beginning of the show. And then it diverted into loaded like Japanese titles and things like that, and then really weird titles. And then it brought it back a little bit at the end with the Alan Wake and things like that. But the whole middle segment, there was people just getting up and wandering off and going to the toilet and chilling out a bit. It kind of went flat. I don't know whether that showed in the stream at all, but it got a bit flat in there. There wasn't the atmosphere that people thought it probably would have been, and I think it doesn't help that viewing.
How long was that for you? Like, obviously it started at 8. Obviously you sat down before that, but would you say it's too long? Oh, okay.
Felt long. So even then, it's not that enjoyable to watch it from the crowd either, because they've got 3 screens. So they've got 2 screens on either side, and then they've got a big screen in the top middle, and then the stage. What Xbox usually do when they do their conferences for people is the giant screen behind them on the stage is for the game, and it's massive. It's like 100+ foot, so you can't miss it.
Right.
But at the Keeley ONL, it's a tiny screen up in the air, and lights go dark, and you have to look at this screen in the middle. It's like maybe it's a 90-inch screen or something like that, just plunked up there, but you're sitting all the way back, so I can kind of see
I love that you're saying that, because when I was watching it, I was staring at it and going, I think that screen's too small. It was one of the first things I thought of. So now I'm glad you're kind of reiterating that and kind of like what the experience really was like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it just didn't work as much. You couldn't really hear any, like, especially when Keeley was talking, you couldn't hear nothing because people were just like, especially at the front, going, like fangirling over him and things like that.
Yeah.
Woohoo! You're like, I can't hear.
You sure that wasn't for you, Dutch? You big
idea what's going on here. Yeah. Like, you couldn't hear 90% of the stuff that Zach or anybody was saying on that stage because
got you.
The microphone was low and the crowd was boisterous. So yeah, it was I'd recommend, especially if you're going for Gamescom for the first time, try it. It's not expensive. It's like $25 for a ticket. So yeah, go and experience it. See what you think for yourselves.
Yeah.
Get there early and get a drink.
Right.
Yeah, $3,000 round trip ticket, but $25.
Right. That's the thing. The ticket's cheap. It's the damn flight for me. I'm in South Carolina. Like I can't. I haven't looked it up yet.
The community. I think the community thing. The community thing and meeting with all the different people from both Xbox and getting contacts from different companies Really, all of that stuff is well worth the trip in itself. The community in itself speaks to itself. It was such a good laugh, and of course, if you all apply for Xbox Fan Fest, there's always an opportunity. You get that awesome night as well, which was 3 hours of full access to the Xbox booth to play all the games as much as you can. Free drinks, free food. So you just go and enjoy yourself, interact with the community. And Phil Spencer was there if you want to go meet him. You can AC Bongos and Aaron Greenberg and all the different Xbox guys and Melina. So everybody's there hanging out, drinking beers, just chilling. So Xbox Fan Fest is also worth it. You can just apply for that. You win tickets. You don't have to buy any tickets. And that gives you full access to the Xbox booth as well. So there's reasons to be there beyond just Gamescom, and a massive part of that's community. I couldn't kind of stress that enough. It's really hard to put out there because people just think it's like, as I mentioned before, people think
it's fake. It's not
it's
genuine.
fake.
No, it's definitely not fake. Yeah,
it's that I know it's not fake. I've seen it. We've lived it. Like, we know doing podcasts and the people who reach out to us outside of our podcast and just DM us just to talk. Like, we know it's real. You know what I mean? So,
and shout out actually some guy. We were sitting in the Starfield presentation, and shout out to whoever this guy is, because I still didn't catch his name. And he said he doesn't really go on Twitter or anything like that, but he's in someone's Discord, and I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been either Xbox Era or Jez and Rand's podcast or whatever it was. And he just sat down next to me and I think it was me and Erwin or me and Boxy. It was me and Boxy actually the second, because I went in for a second time to watch it with Boxy because he hadn't seen Starfield. So we both sat down, and then this Irish lad came up and sat beside me, and he was just like, "Wondering Dutch, Boxy." I was like, "Hello." He was like, "Big fan of your work. I'm not going to disturb you because I know you're busy." I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, well, it's fine, just talk. Like, I'm not this big famous guy. But thank you. That was weird. That's weird getting those kind of things. Like, I'm only like 2,000 subs or something, man. I'm not a creator, as it were. I'm just
well deserved.
You're special to someone. You're always special to someone, though. Besides your mother.
You're our rock star, buddy.
It's a strange thing, I tell you. I don't think I'll get used to that, but yeah, it's whoever you are. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed your time.
There you go. There you go. All right, RHETRI, we got kind of close to wrap up time. So, anything else you want to cover before we move on? I got something I can play if you want.
Not too much. I just want to go over like some of the announcements that we got during this, because Xbox was just kind of on a roll. So I'm just going to kind of
plow through those.
Some of the stuff that was coming out to Game Pass. Obviously, we got Age of Empires 4. You guys know that. But we also got a date for one I've been waiting for. Warhammer 40K Dark Tide's coming to Xbox Game Pass October 4th. It's been on PC Game Pass for a hot minute, actually, and got kind of delayed on the console. It was finally coming out very soon. I think you guys are probably going to like that. I think they had some issues with the console edition of that, so I think that's why it got delayed. But we got that coming. We got
to be fair, they had some issue with the PC version too.
Well, you're not wrong. I did play it on PC. I didn't have as many issues as everyone else did, but there was definitely some issues on the PC. Still, I think a very good developer. Still a very good game in my opinion. So I think people are going to enjoy that. It gives me Left 4 Dead vibes. So I think that's the closest game I've played in a long time that kind of gives me that feeling. We also got Jasant coming to Game Pass on October 31st. So a lot of these that we didn't know about, we're getting dates for. So that's another cool, relaxing game that I think people are going to like. We got Dungeons of Hinterberg coming Game Pass 2024 ? There's a lot of these. There's a decent amount of 2024s that we don't quite know when they're going to drop exactly, but next year is going to be stacked too. We're going to have some great first-party games coming, and we're going to have a bunch of third-party deals as well, including this one, Towerborn, which is one I'm like super excited about, coming to Game Pass sometime in 2024. We don't know when, but it's coming.
I don't think it's too far away, by the way.
I don't think, yeah. You would know. Yeah.
Nice.
Speaking of Arnie, I think that game's almost pretty ready to go. Like,
so maybe Q1, Q2, probably at the latest, hopefully. We got Persona 3 Reload. We got a date for that finally coming February 2nd, 2024, coming to Game Pass for anyone who's interested in that one. We did hear from Stalker, they're saying now Q1 of 2024. So we'll see if they can hold on to that. Obviously, if they can't, no big deal. Take your time, guys. First impressions matter in the gaming industry. So, no rush on that one. We got 33 Immortals. That's that game that literally can have 33 players play together. That's coming 2024. This one was kind of a surprise. Citizen Sleeper. We had Citizen Sleeper 1 on Game Pass, or still is Game Pass. It's getting extended on Game Pass in case you want to try it out before you play the second one. We just know that's coming. Maybe 2024. I'm not really sure. Party Animals arrives on Game Pass September 20th. I think this game could be big. I think this is going to be a great party game. I have a feeling this is going to take off. You can clip it. I could be totally wrong. I just got a feeling about this game. I watched the guys Xbox On play this. They were laughing the entire time. They were having a great time playing this, like nonstop.
Yeah,
they played it for a while. So I think this is going to be the next Fall Guys hit.
It looks fun,
in my opinion.
Looks like a fun game.
So I'll be drinking and playing that live on stream, so you can, make fun of me later. We also got Cities. I always say this wrong. Cities Skylines 2. That's arriving on Game Pass October 24th. I know a lot of people like that series as well. This one I'm looking forward to, and this is the last one that I got. There are some other games. There was a pigeon game. I can't remember, but Still Wakes the Deep, which is kind of like a horror-esque game. I think it's kind of based off of like Kubrick, like Stanley Kubrick type of vibe. So that's coming into Game Pass early 2024. That's a lot of stuff. Xbox, without a doubt, came out swinging on a year that was like, well, we're going to take advantage. We're going to take the most amount of square footage we've ever taken. We're going to have the biggest booth we've ever had. We're going to show all kinds of stuff. PlayStation ain't here. It's time to shine. Go Team Green. So it's good to see that they're fighting back, man. You know what I mean? Like ABK deal is this close for being done. The ship is turning, guys. Like, I know we've been waiting, we've been patient for a long time as Xbox fans, but I think the patience is finally, I think it's finally coming. I think that this is a great year. We got Starfield in 4 days. Like, I'm hyped. I don't know about you guys, but that game's going to take my life away. Oh, one thing. I don't know. Are you guys interested in the Starfield wrap? The thing for the Series X that goes around the
custom,
no,
the custom wrap.
Already
I was gonna say,
I think it looks great.
Dutch doesn't need one.
Oh,
makes
right.
his own.
Yeah, he does his own. That's right.
That's true,
He can, yeah, that's true.
We paint the whole console, but yeah.
With that,
But us
that
plebs
said,
who don't do that, ordered immediately.
that
There you
conversation there, I gotta pull this up here. So
Yeah, go for it.
I brought him up earlier. I got to bring him up again because it just kind of leads into what you're talking about. Yeah.
All right, that's not what I expected.
Well,
he's getting two times tonight.
Well, and the thing is, it just happens to be talking about the marketing. He is a little upset that everybody is now talking about Starfield, and people need to be talking about Spider-Man 2.
They have a bus in
pack.
Germany too, by the way, right?
I'm just, dude, I'm just sitting here patiently waiting for Sony to really kick off the marketing in a huge way for Spider-Man 2. I've been seeing that the marketing for and not just the marketing, but the conversation in general for Starfield is really heating up, as is to be expected. And I still am maintaining this curiosity of like, what does Sony plan to do during this time where Starfield is in the limelight? Is Sony planning on just kind of like sitting back? We got Baldur's Gate 3. We're good. We'll kick off the marketing hype cycle sometime in,
Baldur's Gate 3.
in mid-September or something, or are they
Christ.
gonna start now? I'm very curious to see. Because I don't know, man. I feel like Sony's been doing this with their big games lately. Like Sony could just keep the hype going for Spider-Man 2 from now until launch, but they're seemingly just like, they're just playing it very conservatively. It seems.
So is that what it seems?
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wish they wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm sure you kind of wish they would.
You can I'm literally witnessing the hamster wheel is just like slowing the F
It's
down.
spinning in his
It's
head,
just-
So here's the
So
thing,
bad.
right? Like, what does Sony doesn't need to market Spider-Man, right?
They don't.
No.
It has
The
a
biggest
market
superhero on
audience.
earth. What are you
Yeah,
talking
it's-
about,
I know.
dude?
It has
He
a
did
built-in
sell
the
marketing.
marketing this,
People
but
are
One
gonna-
tweet and that thing is
Starfield,
good
not
to
because
go.
it helps the game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
like,
know.
come on, man.
So, but they're if he's upset now,
Yeah.
just wait till the game comes out because Starfield sounds like one of those games that people are gonna be talking about and playing
For
for many,
years.
many
Man.
months. It's not gonna
Yeah.
be just a week of hype. It's gonna just keep rolling.
Can
So,
I ask this question
yeah.
real quick?
Yes.
Go for it, brother.
So and this is just full disclosure. We're all shooting the shit here, and Dutch,
Mhm.
answer as good as you can, brother. Right? You might have some additional information, but answer as good as you. How close are we? How close do you guys feel about that? Like, you guys feel like it's going to be that? And just individually here, I just want to hear from everybody. Like, as far as Starfield, is it gonna like reset the generation?
Yeah, it's gonna be a big one. I haven't heard from a multitude even outside of the Xbox centric influencer guys. I haven't heard an ounce of negativity around what's being played. It's a super positive sentiment. So I would be hyper surprised if this thing doesn't really smash it out the water when the reviews drop this week.
Mm.
It's definitely the big thing that people are expecting it to be. Put it that way.
Yeah.
I agree. After watching, Starfield was a game that I had to do a little bit of moonwalking on. I said I didn't think it was going to be a system seller, and I've completely 180'd after watching the 45 minutes of the masterpiece that was all the footage that we saw from Bethesda. I think this is going to sell a lot of units, Game Pass or not. Like we know there's like 25 to 30 Game Pass people, but what we've seen is a ridiculous amount of people upgrade to the premium edition to play it early for $30. None of us had to do that. Nobody really had to do that. You know what I mean? We could not wait. They just made a ton of money, even though you're already paying for your subscription
And
just off of that extra $30.
Stressed this, by the way, during every showing of Starfield at Gamescom, they were like, and to play it early at early access, you can, if you've got Game Pass, you can buy the premium subscription, and it's only $30, and that gets you access to the full game plus the premium and early access.
Yep.
And they stress that every time they put that on. And even
Smart.
Erwin, Erwin's a big racing guy. He plays games, so sure. But even he wasn't really that about Starfield. Then he watched the demo. And what first thing he said to me midway, not even at the end of it, midway through watching it, he was like, "Can you get the premium thing a bit like you can with Forza and just play it early?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "I'm doing that." Straight as soon as it finished,
nice.
Got the premium edition.
I think you're gonna watch Starfield have the Elden Ring effect. I think you're gonna see that everyone was like, "Oh, I've never that for Elden Ring was the first for a lot of people." A lot of people got FOMO on that and was like, "Well, I got to try this thing out." I think Starfield is going to do that. I think it's going to be the Skyrim game. It's going to do numbers.
It's crazy to think that in a year, which I consider, I don't know if you guys agree, I think this is easily the best year in video games I've ever experienced. Like from a quality standpoint, as far as literally a game of the year quality game every single month.
100%.
Well, I would technically agree. Numerically, we've gone through the numbers. There are better years.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, depending on the scale.
You're talking like 2007, 1998.
This year isn't over yet. This year isn't over yet.
We've had this conversation. There's a lot of game of the year contenders.
No question about it. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're good. You're good, Pixel. I know everybody's scale is different. I'm not sure, but in my opinion, from a quality standpoint, from the variety of games we're getting, just from top to bottom, I just haven't really experienced a year like this one. But it's crazy to think that in a year, regardless of where you place it in the top 5 or 3, whatever you want to do, Starfield is probably still going to stand out. That's crazy to say, because the one thing that I always thought is that when we started talking about these conversations and people want to throw mud on Starfield and try and change the conversation, it is the one game that out of all the big games we've gotten this year that these games are constantly compared to. They don't get we've never compared Spider-Man to Zelda. and say,
Right.
"Man, that's
Yeah.
gonna be a tough game
You're
of the year
right,
battle."
No, we
PTK.
don't.
Nobody's ever
Nope,
said that.
You're right.
It's always with Spider-Man or Starfield, or is it gonna be Zelda Starfield? It's never, So that's it's just crazy to think that they might pull this off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they definitely are pulling it off as well. I think a lot of people are going to be surprised when they get their hands on it on Friday, 100%. It's definitely going to surprise a few people. I think it's going to be a lot of people eating crow as well.
Oh yes.
Good.
I did throw
Nice.
a poll up real quick if anybody wants to take it, to jump on it. So far, it's leaning a little heavy to one side or the other. But will Starfield score a 90 plus? Yes or no?
Yes.
Polls in there if you want to take it.
Yes.
I had to change my. I was one of the people who thought this was going to get the Xbox effect where they get slapped because of people like Kotaku and whatnot. But I think this game is going to be so good. I think it's going to be undeniable.
It's not even going to
You're
matter.
going to look like it. You're going to look like the asshole when you give it a
Mhm.
low score, and everyone's going to know exactly what the hell you're doing.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
I think the only, like I'm saying, the only thing that I've found, and again, that's not a Bethesda thing. That's just because that they don't use mocap in their games at all. So you've got perfect, like the lip sync is brilliant, like the facial animations for the lip sync is great, the voice acting's great, but they still, because they don't use mocap, they've still got dead eyes. So
yeah.
I've heard that.
I agree with that. I always thought that
we
the
chalk that up
facial
to kinda
animations
like
weren't that great.
a Bethesda feature though? Maybe
Yeah, right.
Maybe it's almost like a feature at this point, right, Dutch?
Trademark.
Right?
No. I'll say this.
That's the only thing I can think. That's literally the only thing I can think where it's like a thing that someone will be picky on. It's like, look at the dead eyes again. But outside of that, everything else is I can't see. They've had so much time with the game as well now. Reviewers, like we're talking like 2 and a bit weeks by the time the game launches. That's a significant amount of time for a game. You're lucky if you get 5 days usually for a review.
Exactly. It's confidence.
And outside of that, stretch times, like small indies might give longer, but the vast majority of AAA is 5 days or less for a review. So to give more than 2 weeks, it kind of shows both the confidence, but also even with that 2 weeks and not the release day version of the game, from everybody who's played it, they haven't seen any major bugs, which is really weird. Touch wood, and everyone's super positive.
Phil said they had all hands on deck.
Touch my wood,
right? So that was straight from Phil's mouth. We had everybody on this.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, he did. Yeah, because when they're talking about Redfall versus Starfield, they're like, well, the engineers and everyone was there from the get go. Sorry to bring that up.
No, it's all good.
This game is sitting number 2 on Steam right now, right? So, and it's gonna be a multi-leg kind of game, right? Because we're bracing now for the game proper, right? We'll experience the game Bethesda wants to experience, right? Whatever dynamicness of it, right? But this is a game that also is about like people's imagination. And what's gonna happen is the modding is gonna come out.
Oh my
eventually.
goodness. I forgot all about that, Pixel.
Yeah.
So
that's why I get it downloaded on PC.
I forgot all about it.
Yeah, we're just getting a taste
Right
of
now.
it. I mean, that's why like I'm already like I had the Constellation Edition already. I pre-ordered I ordered the premium edition as well, right, for Game Pass. I'm probably gonna get it on Steam eventually as well, like just for the modding. So it's like this game's gonna have some legs on it. You know what I'm saying? It's not just it's gonna appear, people are gonna talk about it. It's gonna be, it appears, people talking about it, and then it's gonna keep getting life because, like they said, they're gonna be supporting this for like a decade. So
I mean, think about it. It's literally the perfect game for DLC. I can't think of a better setup than another
planets.
universe, another planet. And by the way, Pete Hines told us you can make your own damn planets, like probably like through mods.
Planets,
like,
stories, quests,
Stories,
everything. Yeah,
it's literally infinite, like space. Like this game can last for a long time if they wanted to. So
hey, Reggie, read that super chat real quick.
Ah, my
Tony.
buddy. What's up, Silent? Silent Cypher with the $5 super chat.
Oh, God.
I'm going to go ahead and wait until 2024. The title menu. I already know what he's writing. The title
Silent,
menu
yeah,
being
Cypher, you
so
onto something.
basic. You basic title menu clearly shows that the game is going to be a flop at launch. We always talk about this. 2 out of 10. Yeah, 2 out of 10 for the menu. Like, and I'm someone we're poking fun, but
Touch wood.
one of the things
Hashtag touch wood.
hashtag touch wood from Cypher. One of the things I absolutely
You're
love
trimming,
that this game is doing is the simplistic UI. Because as I'm getting older, I'm playing games like Fortnite. I'm like, what the fuck do I do? Where is the thing? Like, there's just too much on the damn screen. So I'm an advocate for this, pulling it back, making it simplified, and Starfield did that across all their systems on all the UI. You can see, like, when you're making your character and shipping on your ship, everything
That
is simplified.
UI is even in the website for folks that are confused about the UI. That design language is being carried
That's on
across
purpose.
everything, right? So it's not
Everything.
like, oh, we were being lazy, whatever idiot said that, right? It's not. It's actually the design language they're using for everything. So,
do you guys hope we get a like a companion app at some point or no?
Yeah, I hope so.
the part of the companion app is on the CE edition, right? So the watch actually ties into the game.
I was gonna say the watch.
Yeah,
right.
the watch actually ties into the game, so it gives you like status, the physical statuses as well as like what planet you're on and stuff like that. So they have, I guess.
But do you have to have? Do you know, Pixel, if you have to have the watch to have the companion app, or can we just?
As of now, all I've seen is that it's on the watch. So hopefully they extend that because it's an Android watch, I believe. So it should be extended to everything else. So yeah,
awesome,
pretty cool.
I can't wait.
Oh my gosh,
I'm so pumped.
What a show, guys! Wow,
yeah,
awesome. We're 130 people still here right now. Thank you all so much for being here today. I love each and every one of you, man. I mean that. That's so awesome that you guys are taking your time out of your night to join us. And as we wrap things up here, I definitely want to go around the horn and give everybody their flowers. And I want to start with Dutch in case he wants to dip on out because I know he is tired. But Dutch, we're going to start with you first, if you don't mind, sir. Dutch,
yes.
Thank you so much for being here. Please tell everybody where they can reach you. All the stuff for all these wonderful guests are going to be in the description below, so definitely want to check that out. But we always like hearing from you first, man. What's up?
Yeah, of course. So obviously you can find me everywhere at Wondering Dutch or Wondering Dutch X on the X now. So yeah, at the Xbox social handle, which Wondering Dutch X is perfectly fitting now.
It is.
Yeah, and obviously this week has been just Gamescom content on my channel. So we've got the Starfield trailer, which I put out last week. We've got the Forza Motorsport brand new gameplay footage that I recorded at the Gamescom booth. So that's up on the channel. We've got now the Towerborn hands-on impressions video that went up today. And of course, a couple of other podcasts. I'm putting up a vlog as well that kind of covers up the experience, showing off some of the halls, the games that we'll play, and so on and so forth. So that's getting made, and that'll go up shortly. So there's a lot of things there. Obviously, a couple of little podcasty bits there as well. For anybody who didn't check out the hilarious semi-drunk podcast that we did with John from Xbox here at Gamescom.
I did see that.
Go and watch it. We'd had a good 6-7 drinks by that point, so
yeah,
that was good. Yeah,
that was a good time.
But yeah, other than that, yeah, you can find me everywhere. And again, guys, thanks for having me. It's been an absolute blast, and yeah, have an awesome evening.
Awesome, dude. Again, I really do appreciate you being here. Like I said, I know you've been in high demand this weekend, but I'm really glad that you got to go and experience that. I think it's fantastic. And
well, you chaps need to come over sometime. That's what it needs to be.
Well,
Gamescom.
we need to work something out.
We do
for sure.
Yeah.
Let's just say we're working on things like that. Let's just see how things go. But it's in the cards of goals we want to achieve. So we'll definitely see what we can come up with, and not just but both of us try and get over there and raise a ruckus, as it were. So there
Yes.
we go. And
I'll drink with y'all.
there you go. There you go. Pixel Bit G, buddy, thank you so much for being here again. You are so awesome. I love your insight, and I love that you're here with us. And to tell everybody where they can reach out to you.
As usual, you can find me on Twitter. You might actually catch me streaming some Starfield once it actually comes out a week from now. And I actually am thinking about starting up a little show for myself, a little late night something. So we shall see very soon. But as always, man, I really appreciate the invite with you cats. Always a good time coming on here with you. Pleasure. PTK, Wondering Dutch,
nice
as always.
You.
Some of y'all cats is legendary on here. My man RHETRI doing his work as always, and WEBDAVE, you're everywhere, player. So I appreciate it, man. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
I love it. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate you being here. And his description, in the description below, you'll find the link to his X page. I keep on saying Twitter, but so please check that out and follow him, and he'll follow you back for sure. And of course, the one, the only, the legend.
Oh, stop
PTK BLAM. No. It's true. Saturday nights are an amazing night to jump on with the crew, because you have you have Fuzzy Belvedere and Pong Soul as regulars.
Right.
And always a great time. I've been a guest a couple of times, so is RHETRI. We appreciate that too. So please tell everybody about your show and about where they can find you.
You're far too kind. I appreciate the flowers. Far too kind. But all you fine gentlemen from Dutch, Pixel Big, nice to meet you as well. But Dutch, you know what it is, man. We got to get you back on soon. RHETRI, same with you, Dave. I had a ball here, man. It was a great show. Shout out to everybody in chat. You guys can find me PTK BLAM across the board everywhere. That's on Xbox Live, PTK BLAM, Twitter. Once again, sorry for missing this week. Had a very my anniversary was yesterday, so big day yesterday for us. But
happy
we'll
anniversary!
Be back. Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
Congrats, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that. Thank you as well. But yeah, we'll be back next week. Like I said, man, you come hang out with us on Saturday. It's gonna be a great show. I believe we got Slow Mo. It'll be on next week. We might have a random guest on as well too. You never know. But man, shout out to you guys, Dave, RHETRI. You guys put on an amazing freaking show. Two of my favorite people, Dutch as well, and Pixel Bit. But yeah, I had a great time, man. Definitely want to get back here and do this again.
100%.
Thank you so much. And I also want to make sure that everybody, while you're still here, hit the like button for us. I get yelled at for not doing it. Hit the like button,
we keep forgetting
subscribe button if you haven't already done it already. And if you want to become a channel member, just $1, man, 99 cents. And then you got all these cool
$1
icons I threw up there. Plus, there's also a bonus show and all kinds of other things that you can get just by being a channel member. And it shows your support, and we greatly appreciate that. But with that said, please, RHETRI, tell everybody where they can find you and what amazing content you've got coming up.
Cool. I got all kinds of content coming up. Game Pass stuff, because Game Pass is just killing it lately. Obviously, I'll do some Starfield stuff as well. I'll be streaming that as well, just like Pixel Bit. Because why not? Here is my YouTube page there, guys. You can also follow me on Twitter at GamePass_daily, of course. Most of you do, so I appreciate that. And of course, you guys can join the Discord community, which I'll drop in the chat right now. If you guys want to play some games with us, right now I'm playing a lot of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's a ton of fun. I really like that game. That's surprisingly a really good pickup in Game Pass, in my opinion. But the second Starfield drops, I'm dropping that game probably like a bad habit for a little while. I might go back and forth a little bit. I always play some Fortnite too, so we play a lot of Fortnite. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I might, maybe. I don't know. We're gonna have to see. I'm gonna. Well,
are you gonna
know
stream
better than
some
I do,
Starfield? Are you playing live?
I will definitely
Big
stream some
spoiler alert time?
Starfield. Yeah, I would definitely be
cool.
streaming some of that for
Nice.
sure. But yeah, thank you, chat, for coming out tonight. Great show as usual. Wondering Dutch, thank you so much. I know you've been super busy, man, but I wanted the insight from someone who was on the ground floor, so I super appreciate you being here. I love the Viking. PTK BLAM, one of my favorite people in the community.
Appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely love this guy. And Pixel Bit G tells it like it is on Twitter. That's why I invited him the first time on this show, and I appreciate him coming out. And WebDave, thank you, sir, for thank you.
Yeah, I know,
You know, for
buddy.
all you
I
do.
know. I know.
I don't want to get all sappy and shit.
Oh man. Well, like I said, when I was looking for a co-host, he was the first person I asked, and I know I made the right choice because we actually work really well together, and I
Mhm.
feel very blessed to have you as a co-host. So thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
The Gamers Council wouldn't be what it is today without you, and we're going to continue to grow, and we keep
Mhm.
having amazing guests like these guys. We're going to be to the moon, baby, and hopefully all these guys will be back on a future podcast. At least I'll bug them till they come back on.
Till they say yes, till they submit.
Please
Yeah.
come back. And they're like, oh, I guess there's that Dave guy again. I'm just kidding. but definitely, guys, thank you so much. And then episode tomorrow is actually going to be a retro episode for me for the Outbreak Gamers. When about 4 or 5 years ago, maybe longer, I actually got to interview some pretty amazing voice actors. They actually worked on The Walking Dead for Telltale Games, and their interview will
game,
be
by the way.
up. It is a great game, and so that drops tomorrow. That's Melissa Hutchison and Gavin. And so that would definitely be one you want to check out. It's an older show, and it's kind of an impromptu at a con, so there's a little airy, not exactly the greatest audio, but their stories are absolutely amazing, and they are some, oh man, they because they were able to say anything they wanted to. So let's just say they kind of dropped some bombs, and it's pretty funny because stuff they normally couldn't do when they're in certain different panels that they were on at the con, we let them cut loose in our episode. So it's definitely worth checking out if you get a chance to. That drops tomorrow in the morning. Last thing I'll say on that, but please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share this out to a friend, let everybody know we're here, and we do appreciate everybody that joins us here at Gamers Council.